Melvin, mute your mic on the camera.
Your red light therapy session is now complete.
Find your bliss at Palm Beach Tan and take that feeling with you wherever you go. With new red light therapy and infrared saunas, plus the best of sunbed and spray tanning, Palm Beach Tan makes it easy to see yourself in a new light. Be our guest and try any service free.
The start of that sunshine double, the BNP Paribas Open. Welcome to the Miami Open.
You know that I feel good.
The top stars are set to shine once more.
It is paradise. The weather is great, and the fans are great.
The best tennis players in the world.
It's fake and new. I feel good. Grid start, hearts pound seconds before eruption. A
Hey guys, my name is Harley with Prestige Enterprises. Not only are we a proud sponsor of the Powerhouse Motorsports, we're also proud to be one of the sponsors for Premier Stock Car Racing League. We provide our services to over 70% of the US, and we have a wide range of services, but our main focuses are custom homes, barn doors and shops, and commercial development. But it doesn't stop there. So pull out your phones and use this QR code on your screen to take a quick look at our website. We can't wait to make your dreams come true. Now that we have helped pay some bills, let's throw it back to you, Aaron.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in. As we get ready to rock and roll, we get ready to go to battle here again this afternoon. A beautiful Saturday night to be at the racetrack here at the beautiful New Hampshire Speedway here this afternoon. With the Premium Stock Car Racing League drivers getting ready to go to battle, they're getting ready to duke it out here and jump out onto the racetrack for their qualifying session. Going to be looking to lay down some quick times out there on the speedway, hoping to set themselves up for a great day at the racetrack. Trent Johns out there onto the speedway. There's Trent in that Frosted Flakes Kellogg's number 28 ride. He slides it onto the racetrack in the beautiful Gaston's iRacing graphics. Old Dog's number 72 ride jumping out onto the track here. There's Jonathan Gaston, the G-Man himself, getting ready for his qualifying attempt here as down the front straightaway here at New Hampshire Speedway. Quickly onto the throttle, down into corner number 1. You can see that car trying to get checked up, trying to get woed up there. You see the flames coming out of that tailpipe there as he's letting off the gas. It's getting rid of all the excess fuel and everything else. They're spitting out that fuel pipe. A little bit of backfire there, and we're going to see the same down through corner number 3 and 4 as that car is going to make the big wide turn here at New Hampshire Speedway. As this racetrack, we're going to see a lot of 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 and 6 wide out there on the racetrack. It is very, very wide, especially down here through these corners. You can see it kind of on there. Looks like you're really big freeway in a city near you, where you can go 5 wide, 6 wide, 7 wide. You see the 72 ride trying to get onto the throttle there, almost loses it coming out of corner number 2. Luckily enough, able to catch it as we do see the beautiful number 25 ride of William Connolly. He jumps out there onto the racetrack. Brian Underwood, there's Underwood jumping out there as well. The Dads for Life number 6 ride, that Kroger machine, jumps up into 3rd. Jordan Hand currently sits 2nd in. One driver that's out in front right now with the quick time here in qualifying. It's Aiden Lucas. Lucas looking for the 5P here this afternoon for our points races here at the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Aiden has won the last 4 races in a row for the Premium Stock Car Racing League points races. I have to say, as he wasn't here last Saturday for our all-star race, but he's a star out there every time he jumps out onto the racetrack. Evan Stewart, going to see Evan out here onto the racetrack as well, as right now he sits in position number 8, looking for a little bit more speed here on his 2nd lap around the racetrack. Hoping to slide up that leaderboard a little farther here, see if he can get that Mustang a little closer to the front of the field to start this afternoon. Down across the line, he finds a little bit of extra speed, but not enough to move him any farther forward. Grant Applegate, he's going to go from 8th, or actually he was back in 9th, and now up into 2nd for Applegate. So Grant Applegate, his 2nd lap, finding a lot of extra speed, and quickly jumps up in between Aiden Lucas and Jordan Hand here, and now going to join his, I do believe that's his teammates, all at the front of the field here. Oh man, these Redemption Motorsports rides, they have been on one heck of a roll, and here again tonight, another absolutely amazing run for him. As Cryptic says, no qualify for me, and a drive-through at the start. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Jimmy 6 times says, Aaron, please join the booth. Oh, I can join the booth, brother. What's going on, my boy? What's going on? Where's the booth here? Where are we at? Where are we at? Hey, yo, Josh, what's good, brother?
Hey, I was just letting you know that I'm not going to be running tonight. I'm going to be running race control. I've got my surgery going on next week, so I'm not able to drive tonight. So I figured I'd spend some time with you in the booth.
Alrighty, well, that's going to be fun. That's going to be a good time. We're always excited to have someone up here in the booth with us as we see qualifying kind of getting underway, and like we've seen for the last 4 points races, Aiden Lucas looks like he's got another hot rod here again tonight. Looks like he may be another fierce competitor looking for 5 wins in a row in these points races here on the Premium Stock Car Racing League. What do you think these guys are going to have to do to try to beat him here tonight and keep that 20 ride from finding victory lane? Alrighty, well,
Sorry
Cole-
about that. My mic wasn't working.
Oh,
I
you're good.
I said you're probably going to have to wreck him, honestly, if you're going to beat him. That's about it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like a short track. It's kind of like one of those intermediate short tracks. I don't know whether it's, coming or going out there or really what the style is, but it's kind of got that mix of a little bit of, feels like it looks like Texas. It also, looks like Martinsville, but quite a bit bigger and wider in these corners. So it's a very, very tricky track, and for each and every one of these drivers, they're going to have a lot of fun out there on the speedways. We're going to get ready to rock and roll. We're going to jump into our pre-race command here from Lonnie Kreider. Lonnie always coming in, giving us these amazing commands. We always love to have them up here on the broadcast for everybody to see and to enjoy and to watch. Lonnie and his amazing commands here on Peacemaker Gaming. Let me get this pulled up here real quick. Here we go. For some reason, Streamlabs does not like to play videos for me anymore. Some of them it does, some of it doesn't. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is our opening command from Lonnie Kreider.
Thank you very much. Hey, the world of sports. The basketball teams in the brackets are not looking too good. Hey, take a look at the weather. The weather's not looking real good either. It's kind of warm places, snow in some places, hail in some places, and a little bit of everything. Oh, that's not what we're here for. This is Lonnie Kreider. It's time to start those engines.
Alrighty, shout out right there to Lonnie, always coming in, setting the tone here as we get ready to go to battle. We get ready to duke it out, and Lonnie's not wrong, man. It is pretty crazy out there for weather-wise. I wish I was experiencing some of that warmer weather up here in Canada. As unfortunately, we've been hit by ice storms the last couple of days, so we're covered in a pretty good sheet of ice out there on the roads, on our vehicles, on pretty much everything, kind of just covered in ice right now. So not a whole lot of fun up here in Canada, but nonetheless, we get a lot of fun up here in the broadcast booth as we'll get ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go to battle as the drivers out there on the racetrack getting ready to roll here in just a couple more moments as the Tracker Boats and ATVs Bass Pro Shops number 20 ride of Aiden Lucas will start in the top spot. To his outside in the Red Bull number 57, that is Grant Applegate. Starting in position number 3 in the Jordan Auto Value Part Source number 11 machine, that is Jordan Hand. To his outside, it's last season's champion, the Mazda Racing Kroger number 6 ride, that is Brian Underwood. Starting in position number 5 in that number 2 ride, it's the Princess Towing Machine of Landon Burbage, and to his outside in the 25, it's William Connolly. Starting in position number 7 in the 79, that is the Gaston's iRacing Graphics Old Dog number 79 machine of Danny White. To his outside, the beautiful number 24 ride of Aaron Robinson. Starting on the inside of row number 5 in the number 37, that is Evan Stewart. To his outside, rounding out our top 10 in that 66 is Ben Gleason. Starting in position number 11 in the number 76, that is Farrell Robbins. To his outside in the 88 DeWalt machine, that is Logan Perryman. Starting in position number 13 on the racetrack, it is the Gaston's iRacing Graphics. That's the G-Man himself. That is the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. To his outside in the 99 ride, it's Ryan Haller. Starting in position number 15 in the 28, it is Trent Johns. There in that 15th spot has Jordan Kreider, Reese Calva back there in that Prestige Enterprises ride. To his outside, and then we see Dylan Carrier, Michael Ponder Jr., Nathan Brookover, Melvin Brangroer, Michael Durham Jr., bringing up the rear of the field. As we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from New Hampshire Speedway, the beautiful racetrack up here in the northeast of the U.S. here this afternoon. Some green grass, some green trees, and what we all hope to see very, very soon is some summer-like weather out there on the racetrack. And for Aiden Lucas, it's exactly what he's used to seeing, being out in front and leading the way as down across the line he will lead the first lap here this afternoon. This 20 ride has spent a lot of time either up in victory lane or out in front leading these races, as he's been off to a absolutely fantastic start. I don't think you can ask for a better start on the season if you're Aiden Lucas. I think you just want to keep that momentum rolling, roll with the punches, hope to just have some good finishes and bring your teammates right along with you, as Applegate, Jordan Hand, and Brian Underwood, all part of that Redemption Motorsports crew, once again here on the year, sitting 1, 2, 3, and 4 out there on the racetrack, as we do see our first caution flag of the day. So our first yellow flag early on here in this one. Looks like some issues for Melvin Brengruer. Melvin back here in that Thrustmaster number 89 ride. Looks like he's just going to get loose there out of corner number 2. Now, we saw this a lot in practice out there on the racetrack. Josh, we saw you rolling out there for practice. You got some laps in here at New Hampshire Speedway, man. Take us through, how difficult it is and what these drivers are feeling when they're getting back onto the throttle and they're rolling back, onto the gas there out of these corners.
Yeah, any bit of throttle that is over 25-30%, as soon as you get out of the apex, you start to get loose and you start to chase it. When you let off, the chassis sits down and all of a sudden you start rocking. Melvin is not the only driver that fell to that situation. Danny White also on the first lap spun down and took his car out and went to pit road to take a fast repair as well. It just didn't draw a caution. So we've had 2 drivers early make the same mistake coming off of turn 2 there.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very tough racetrack just for that reason. Seems like these cars are light on their toes out there on the speedway, and I think that's going to be a cause for a lot of drivers to, unfortunately, and potentially not, be able to continue on in this race or run all the laps here. I feel like we're going to see a lot of drivers down pit side trying to get repairs from these mistakes, like we saw with that 79 on the first lap here. On the opening lap, just down in out of corner number 2, he only ran about, 600-700 meters of this race before running into that problem.
Yeah, it looks like he just got loose. As you look at the replay here, when he comes off turn 2, he's just going to gas it up. I don't believe there was any contact. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely happens, and unfortunately already a pair of tore-up race cars out there on the speedway. Danny getting his quickly repaired with that fast repair. Melvin looks like he's made a couple trips down pit side. He was a little bit more lucky, a lot less contact than what we saw for that 79 machine. Able to collect that car and get onto the binders quickly enough to keep himself from major issues, and using up that quick repair probably early on in this race, as now that you've used it, unfortunately, you can't use it again. Only one quick repair out there, so you really got to make sure that you use it at the correct time, or just kind of roll with the punches even after making that mistake. Obviously, Danny White, too much damage to keep on rolling and not be down pit side for 20, 30, 40 minutes to get that car repaired. But Melvin, a couple trips, maybe a couple more caution flags, get that car fixed back up, and hope to continue on this race, save that quick repair for later on in the afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. We're coming down to go green here. I believe Melvin went ahead and took the fast repair. Knowing him, he usually takes his fast repair when he doesn't necessarily need to. So it doesn't surprise me there. So take him here. Just call me whenever you want.
Absolutely, brother. All right, here we go. Out of corner number 4, the pace car will make the hard left-hand turn back down pit side, as we are back to green flag racing here at New Hampshire Speedway, as Aiden Lucas quickly onto the lap pedal clears that 57 to Grant Applegate out there at the front of the back, leading us down through 1 and 2. We'll have to wait and see if anyone else has issues coming out of that second quarter. So far, looks like everyone's made it through. Oh, look at the 13 ride running into some problems again here this afternoon. Michael Durham Jr. definitely trying to keep that car out of trouble and trying to keep that car pointing in the right direction out there. Unfortunately, he's ran into quite a few issues. Actually, that wasn't Michael Durham Jr. Sorry, that was Michael Ponder Jr. That one's going to always bug me, as we do see Dylan Carrier make his way down pit side here. A pass-through penalty here after a penalty I do believe he got a couple weeks ago. He's going to serve that here this afternoon, and unfortunately for the 31 ride, that's not really the way you want it to go here, and luckily enough, this is a pretty long racetrack for a lot of these drivers. It's 30 seconds virtually to get around this racetrack, so for the 31 ride to make that quick pit stop there just to roll down the front straightaway, you're not going to go a lap down, but if this goes green and tell that 40 lap marker for that first stage, he could potentially go a lap down a quick further. This is about half a racetrack, not even a straightaway from being the first car a lap down out there on the racetrack. racetrack under the green flag. As Aiden Lucas out in front, continue to lead the way. It's Applegate there in second. Jordan Hand back there in third with Brian Underwood, the Redemption Motorsports foursome at the front of the field, continuing to lead this race as Landon Burbage rolls there in fifth. William Connolly there in sixth. Then we see Aaron Robinson now taking a look down below him in that 24 ride. So the 24, 25, door to door, and at corner number 2. Blinkiness there for the 24, but looks like things are under control there as the internet going to be spotty for a lot of people, or even potentially me with the storms we're having up here in Ontario. But nonetheless, we keep on rocking and rolling as Ben Gleason right there behind him. Logan Perryman now up inside the top 10 as Evan Stewart trying to hold on to that 10th position right there behind him. Jordan Kreiner up 5 spots early on in this race. That number 3 machine on the move to the front of the field here, up 5 spots, rolls there in 11th. Ryan Haller right there behind him. And then we see Reese Calva early on here as well in that Prestige Enterprises Camaro, now up 5 spots as well into that 13th position. He's been able to get around Farrell Robbins and a lot of these other fast cats around him as Trent Johns back there in 15th. Jonathan Gaston, Michael Durham Jr. I apologize, I said earlier he got into the fence. It was not the Aaron's 00 ride of Michael Durham Jr. He was able to keep that car pointed in the right direction, keep on rolling. It was Michael Ponder Jr. a little farther back there in that 13 ride that got up into the outside fence as Nathan Brookover rolls in the 18th position. Melvin Brinker there in 19th. It's Michael Ponder Jr. rounds out our top 20 with Dylan Carrier hoping to see another early caution flag here to try to keep himself on the lead lap as Danny White unfortunately is the first driver 1 lap down. He would love to see a caution flag as well and potentially get that lucky dog and the free pass back onto the lead lap for that 79 ride here this afternoon. As out in front, Aiden Lucas just continuing to do what he does best, and that's lead these races, keep these drivers back there behind him, and just looking to have another picture-perfect run as he looks to continue on his absolute pace here on the season. He's been tearing it up and keeping all these drivers back there behind him for the last 4 races in a row, and now looking to make it 5 in a row here for our points races, as unfortunately he missed the All-Star race last week. Definitely would have been fun to see him out there on the dirt track, see if he had anything there for Matthew Wood, as now we do see Grant Applegate looking to try to poke his nose underneath that 20 ride. Doesn't quite take that run that he got out of corner number 2, but he's going to stay right there. Listen to car length off the back bumper of our race leader is Lucas, Applegate, Jordan Hand, 1, 2, and 3 here on the Speedway. Josh, what are you seeing out there, brother? What do you see out there? How are you feeling early on about this race and what these drivers are doing so far after an early caution flag? Looks like things have kind of settled down a little bit more.
Yeah, if you ride along with the 57 of Applegate, you'll see that in 3 and 4 he's running higher than what Aiden Luke is. He's trying to get a diamond down off the turn to get underneath him. And then, so coming off of turn 4, you really try to get that momentum off. Brian Underwood is doing the same thing. So tire wear on the right rear is really, really, really bad here. The right front wears off, but the right rear you're going to get sliding out and pushing off the wall. So you just got to be careful with that.
Yeah, absolutely kicking that rear end out, tail tagging that outside fence, honestly. Once, twice, a few times could obviously do a lot of damage, or could potentially even just drag you into the wall and create more chaos for you out there on the racetrack. So trying to keep those tires underneath you, trying to run a little bit of different lines out there on the racetrack. You watch that 20 ride right from the driver's seat here of Applegate. Obviously a couple different lines, but he's trying to follow somewhat into the tire tracks here of that 20 ride, trying to mirror what he's doing, seeing if he can learn something out of that 20 machine, or maybe just trying to keep pace with them here, maybe trying to save a little bit. But right now it seems like Applegate is trying everything he can to stay right here on the back bumper of our race leader early on in this one. As a huge shout out here, Albert Anderson. Albert coming in with that like on the stream. Craig Michael Deacon coming in with that thumbs up here on the broadcast as well. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. And jump into the comment section. Let us know who you're cheering for and who you want to see up here in Victory Lane. Cheer on your favorite premium stock car racing league driver right now. As out in front, it's Aiden Lucas, who so far has led the first 17 laps of this race. His lap 18 will go up onto the board, but he's still feeling that pressure from his teammate Applegate right there behind him, not letting him run away with this one. Jordan Hand slowly but surely closing the gap. Same with Brian Underwood. They're in fourth, and they got a bit of a gap here, about a second between that number 6 ride and our 5th place driver, Landon Burbage. As Burbage rolls back there in that 5th position, it's got William Connolly a little farther back there in 6. Aaron Robinson, the 66 of Bengalese, Logan Perryman, and Evan Stewart round out our top 10. Not a whole lot of movement here, not a lot of drivers, driving up through the field or showing a lot of pace that, they could come from deep in this pack towards the front. We see one driver who's up 10 positions. That's Michael Durham Jr., but Michael unfortunately started at the rear of the field, and with Josh not being out there on the racetrack, and nor is Matthew Wood, and early problems there for Danny White, Michael Potter Jr., Dylan Carey are having to come down pit side, and Melvin running into problems. He gained a lot of free spots out there on the speedway, but slowly but surely trying to race that Aaron's double zero ride up towards the front of the field, as Aiden Lucas at the front of the field here, starting to separate here a little bit. Gets a big run as we do see the caution flag come back out, so the yellow flag back out into the air here in this one. Josh, what are you seeing out there, brother? What was the cause of this caution flag here? Looks like potential issues for Jonathan Gaston, maybe?
Yeah, Reese Calva looks like he ran over Gaston a little bit going into the turn.
Yeah, definitely looks just like that. I don't know, looks like he trying to get onto the binders right there. Almost looks like that 4 ride kind of just gets into a little bit of a wheel hop down there into corner number 3, and unfortunately that's a little bit of a wheel hop, locks up the tires, knows that he's coming in there with a huge head of pace, and unfortunately just not enough time to get checked up. Gets into that left rear quarter panel of the 72 ride. They make contact not once but twice. Luckily enough, that does straighten out the 72 ride, but good damage here to both of those drivers early on in this race. Luckily enough, still a lot of time left to try to get these cars repaired. Not too much damage and no heavy contact with the outside wall or any of these other drivers. So a good break there, especially for Gaston with that second hit from the 4 ride, as that kind of straightened him out and didn't get him teed up there by the 89 ride, as Melvin was right there behind these guys coming in with a good piece of pace as well, and could have gotten a lot more damage for that number 89 ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Brian Underwood off-cycle pitting here. Obviously, we got the ones that were involved in the wreck, but what do you say we pull Brian up here to talk to him while he's in his pit stall?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. Let's get Brian up here right now. There he is. Hey, Brian, what's good, brother? We got you up here at the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Brian, man, so far a great run and a great drive for that number 6 ride, as you've been just rolling right there, watching your 3 teammates out of your windshield, but now kind of taking a little bit of a different route than them, coming down pit side, an off-schedule pit stop here, getting some tires and some service done to that 6 machine, man. What's going through your mind right now, and what's the strategy call here?
Oh, the great thing is I'm the only one to do it, but I gotta go through all these guys back here, so the goal is to just try to sneak away with the stage win, give me a bonus point for the playoffs. And I felt good on the long run there. I was starting to reel them in because I run a totally different line than they do. I don't know if it helps me or not, but just hopefully we get that long run in.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking for that long run, but knowing that, we're going to see that stage break on lap number 40, but not really a break. We're going to keep it clean and green and go to stage number 2 for the next hopeful caution flag at lap 80. Do you think you got enough time? Do you think you can work yourself through this traffic and get up there and compete for the stage win here in stage number 1 with the crash tires?
Well, it looks like we've just actually pulled him back into his chat. They're getting ready to go green here.
Alrighty, okay, let's go. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Give it up there for Mr. Underwood. Is Brian getting ready to rock and roll, ready to go back to battle here in this one, as Brian rolls back there. Back in position at number 20. We're going to have to wait and see what he can do and if he can race his way up towards the front of the field here in this one. Obviously, fresh tires never hurt out there on the racetrack, especially a tricky racetrack here where grip is going to be a big issue for a lot of these drivers all afternoon. Is down through the Geico restart zone. We see that green flag fly once again out there on the racetrack. It's Aiden Lucas. Lucas out in front here with Applegate right there on his back bumper. Almost door to door for the top spot spot there, but Luke is able to clear him out of corner number 2. As they are door-to-door back there behind him. Jordan Hand trying to hold off Landon Burbage. Burbage right there is down low. Here comes another big run for Applegate. Applegate door-to-door with our race leader. The first time they've been side by side, not on a restart here this afternoon, and Applegate down across the line will take that race lead away, but the caution flag does come back out. We'll have to wait and see where iRacing scores these two drivers, as you just never quite know where they're going to call it back to, where they're going to say who was out in front. We'll have to wait and see what happened there. As does look like Reese Kelba potentially running into some more problems here. Potential contact with the 00. Let's take a look at it here and see what happens. Yeah, contact right there. Gets up a little too high there. Gets into that 00 right. Spins him sideways. They had time together, and then Michael Potter Jr. comes in there, helps clean him out, spins that Prestige Enterprises number 4 right around there, and that's what brings out our caution flag again here this afternoon. So another quick caution flag out there on the speedway. A few drivers tied up into it. Hopefully not too much damage there for Reese, or too much damage for Michael Ponder Jr. That 00 rider, Michael Durham Jr., who is just trying to roll down through quarter 3 and 4. Got tagged there in that left rear quarter panel and took him for a ride down through corner number 4 on the racetrack. As Matthew Glenn says, why is your green flag showing red lights? What? That's a good one, Matthew. I'm not sure what you're seeing. Why is my green flag showing? Oh, you're talking about the 3 red lights that pop up in the center. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's an iRacing thing or SDK just has that in there. I don't know what that is. It just happens. That's part of their network thing that they do. I don't know what that is, but nothing I can really do about it. There's no buttons that I can hit to turn that off. That's always been something that's just kind of happened. I don't know what that is, if that's what you're talking about. But nonetheless, we get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. It does look like iRacing going to keep Grant Applegate out in front, so Applegate leading this race. Aiden Luke is there in second, with Jordan Hand back in third. The number 2 rider, Landon Burbage, who was looking poised to try and take that 3rd spot away from the 11 machine. We'll have to get another big restart and try that one all over again, as William Connolly rounding out our top 5. Ben Gleason back there in 6th, with Aaron Robinson, Evan Stewart, Ryan Haller, and Logan Perryman rounding out our top 10, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Now, these couple of caution flags were definitely a great break for that NJP Designs Phoenix Esports and number 31 machine of Dylan Carrier. Carrier, after having to serve that pass-through penalty, and was potentially, if we saw us go green flag for quite a while, could have been one of those first drivers going to lap down out there on the racetrack. But now, with these couple caution flags, he's right back into the mix of things. Now trying to race his way back up through the field, and he's just outside the top 10 out there on the racetrack. As Applegate, for the first time here this afternoon, we'll have control of this restart, and down through the Geico restart zone, gets a great launch right there. Quickly slides out in front, clears that 20 right of Aiden Lucas by a couple car lengths, and now you see the 11 right of Jordan Hand try to go right on with him as he'll slide up in front of the 20 machine. So Lucas now back into 3rd, as here comes William Connolly. Connolly there in 4th. He was able to get around that 2 machine of Landon Burbage, as it looked like that outside lane just did not fire off well. Not a great restart there for that 20 of Aiden Lucas, and that kind of just bunched things up there on that outside lane. And unfortunately for the drivers that were down low, they had to pay the price there a little bit, and the drivers up high behind the 20 right had to pay the price. The drivers down low were able to benefactor out of that one. And Memphis says when the race goes, gives them the green flag, you got 4 reds. I would be mashing brakes like damn laugh loud. I don't know what that is. Well, I mean, that's for me. I mean, I don't know what drivers have the ability to see that while they're racing. I don't think any of them do, unless if they're watching the broadcast, and this is delayed by about 10 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that. So I don't know why they would be hitting the brakes or watching the Broncos at the same time trying to race out there on the racetrack, but nonetheless, we do have Applegate. He's out in front. Look out, the 99 rider Ryan Haller almost getting a little sideways there at quarter number 2. Was able to catch that car and keep it rolling as the 99 ride now jumps up inside the top 10. He's sitting there in that 9th position, but here comes that Phoenix Esports, number 31 of Dylan Carrier. Carrier's going to go around him out at quarter number 4 now. Here comes Evan Stewart trying to race his way back inside the top 10 as he looks back down low underneath that Ford Performance number 99 ride. So Haller unfortunately going to slide back a couple more spots and he'll fall outside the top 10 once again on the racetrack. Logan Perryman right there behind him, going to try to take advantage of that 99, as well as Jordan Grinder. Michael Durham Jr. trying to race his way back up towards that top 10 in that 00 right after getting tied up in a couple of those caution flags there a few moments ago, as Trent Johns back there in that 15th spot. Melvin Branger, Danny White, Nathan Brookover, Farrell Robbins, Reese Calva, Jonathan Gaston, Michael Ponder Jr., our top 22, bringing up the rear of the field as a couple drivers having issues right there, and another problem for Farrell Robbins. Robbins getting loose out of corner number 2 once again here. This time, though, I think he gets a little help. Looks like some contact again. It's the 4 rider, Reese Calvo, who's just going to get a little loose himself there, washes up the racetrack into that left rear quarter panel, spins that Old Doug's ride down into the inside wall right there, and unfortunately doesn't go all the way around, not stopped on the racetrack. No caution flag, but heavy left front damage again for that 76 ride, and he is now at the rear of the field and has that damage to have to try to keep that car rolling out there on the racetrack, as Aiden Lucas has been able to make his way back to the front of the field, and look at the fresh tires. They are coming. It's Brian Underwood, who's now up and inside the top 3, and he's got the freshest tires there out of anybody out there in the top 14 on the racetrack, as they are yet to come down pit road. He's the only driver inside the top 14 that has came down pit side, and now using those fresh tires to his advantage early on here in stage number 1, as he knows he wants to go for that stage win, wants to try to earn that extra point here in our playoffs. That extra point going to the playoffs here for the stage winner, and that's exactly what he's trying to bank up right now as he hunts down his teammate, as there are all teammates here in the front of the field. Redemption Motorsports once again linked back up at the front here, sitting 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the racetrack. Aiden Luke is going to try to hold off this 6 ride, but the fresh tires, they are coming in. Underwood, he's going to have a lot more turn. He's going to have a lot more drive off the quarter here with those fresher tires, 21 laps better, and he is looking to try to take that race lead away from Aiden Lucas. Let's see if Lucas can hold him off here. There's only a few laps left to go here in this stage. About 5 laps left to go here in stage number 1. I don't know if that's going to be enough for that 20 ride. I don't know if he's going to have enough left in the tank here to hold him off. Josh, what do you think? Do you think that 20 ride is kind of a sit and dunk right now, or do you think after so many laps that the 6 ride with tires, maybe they balance out a little bit, maybe he starts to fall off there, and the 20 ride able to stay out front?
No, he's going to get him here, probably in turn 1 and 2 in the next lap.
Yeah, he is already poking that nose down low.
Oh, Aiden's going to lock it up.
Yeah, Aiden locks it up right there. Excuse me here, Josh. Take over for a second. I got to cough here real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brian gets past Aiden here. So that's exciting for Brian to be able to pay off of that strategy to come into 2 to go here in the stage. And it looks like Applegate's going to try to push underneath the 20 here as well. And Jordan Hand's going to try to stick his nose in between the 2. So Brian Underwood comes to the lead. Yellow flag is out. That's going to be into stage. What a way for that to pay off for Brian Underwood. He called that perfectly. 1 playoff point, which is going to be incredible for him in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely a great strategy call there for that 6th ride and picking up that stage win, getting himself out in front, and a caution flag right there also coming out to end the stage. Now, normally here in the series, last year we would have the regular stage break where we would throw the caution flag here. This year we went to a little bit of a different style where we don't throw the caution flag for stage number 1. We only throw that yellow flag out for the end of stage number 2. But here tonight, a timely one, and luckily enough for that number 6 machine, he had made his way around that 20 machine, able to take that race lead away, and will cruise down across the line for the stage win, as this time looks like the 00 ride once again looks like he's going to go for a ride here, as the 89 of Melvin Branger down low underneath of him. Looks like they made contact, or if the 0-0 just got loose going into the corner and Melvin was just there. Maybe a little neck code on this one as well. Let's see if we can get another angle at this and see the contact or potential neck code here as they were tying together on quarter entry. Yeah, looks like a little contact, maybe a little neck code right there, a little bit of both, and unfortunately just kind of knocks that rear end loose there on the 0-0, and then he goes around right in front of that 89 ride, and luckily enough for everybody else, looks like they're going to avoid contact with him and stay out of any extra trouble there on the racetrack, and only a little kiss there to the nose of that 0-0 ride with the outside fence there. Doesn't look like too much damage for that Toyota as he'll get rocking and rolling again, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to go back to battle here in this one as pit stops underway. Different drivers on different strategies here, but we did see Underwood back down pit road as well. What do you think the strategy is for that 6 ride coming back down pit side? Do you think you got some more fresh tires, or do you think he's just going to try to take the bullet here in this one and save a little extra tires here for later in this race?
He'll save here off the start like he always does. He had 5 sets behind the wall, so he has 3 sets now. Mathematically, he's got 3 pit stops left, so everybody else just has a set to burn on top of him now late in the race if the caution comes out. But if it's anything like it was when we came here a couple of seasons ago, it was a little bit of a caution fest at the beginning, and then we had a long green flag run, and then 1 or 2 at the end. So I think that'll be okay. I think it was worth the gamble to get the playoff spot, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Absolutely, getting that playoff point, a big break right there for Brian Underwood. Always looking to try to earn those stage wins, get those playoff points kind of banked up there to help you on your way to potentially picking up a championship. And for last season's champion, I know he wants to back it up here with another season championship here in 2025. As here we go, back to green flag racing. A couple drivers on that different strategy here. We saw down on lap 21, we saw Jonathan Gaston down pit side of the 72 and the 25 lap marker. We saw Nathan Brookover come down pit side, but here on that caution flag, they stay out, and quickly the fresh tires are just going to eat them up. They quickly fall back a couple spots here. Brookover up the racetrack trying to hang on to that 8 ride. Same with that 72 with Jonathan Gaston is there trying to maybe save that extra cent for later in this race, maybe trying to balance things out here with the rest of the field with that pit strategy out there on the racetrack. And Aiden Luke is going to pick right up where he left off, and that is out in front leading this race as the caution flag does fly here again as the Michael's running into problems here a couple times already today as Michael Ponder Jr. in that Josh Berry paint scheme here on the racetrack. That beautiful quick lane number 13 machine, that Wood Brothers famous paint scheme out there on the racetrack. He's deeper in the field trying to get rocking and rolling here. Not sure if he's just going to lose the rear end. Yep, there it goes. Just getting onto the throttle coming out of corner number 4. The car just steps out and around. Makes some pretty good contact with that inside fence, and unfortunately tore up number 13, and that brings the caution flag back out onto the racetrack. So we will get them stacked up. We will get them racked up and ready to try this one all over again in this one. As shout out to Shadowing says, how does a person get started in something like this? Josh, I'm going to let you take that one as a driver, as admin, as everything else, brother. How does a person get started in something like this, whether or not it's, being a racer or a fan or potentially part of an admin crew to run these leagues?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing you got to have is kind of a blank check to get started. It's going to cost you got to go out if you don't have a gaming PC or a gaming laptop now. It'll cost you anywhere, if you're getting, a budget rig, anywhere from $800 to $1,000. You can get a wheel and a pedal set for $400 or $500. And then you need something to set it on, whether it's a table clamp or whatever that you want to use, which is usually anywhere from, if you're going to sit in something, anywhere from $400 to $500 for that. Then you go to iRacing.com and you can sign up and get a subscription. A year subscription is $55. And then you just buy whatever tracks you want to, and you're golden to go. So, but if you already have a PC and if you already have a gaming PC, it's pretty simple from there. You're not going to be out too much money, just the cost of your wheel and your membership.
Absolutely. It's a big hit up in front, especially if you buy everything kind of deal. Obviously, there's a lot of cars, a lot of tracks, but you don't really need to get everything all at once here on iRacing. They give you a lot of free stuff as well when you get that membership. And then, obviously, you don't have to go out and buy all the race cars. You don't have to go out and buy all the tracks. You can kind of pick and choose a couple every week, or every time you get paid, maybe buy one or two, or kind of get those bundles where you save a little bit more through iRacing. I do believe it's what you save like 10% or something like that if you buy 3 items at once, and I think it's 15% or 20% if you buy 5 items at once. So you can kind of get those little extra savings the more you buy, and if you got a list, you can kind of just keep checking them off, week after week after week, or paycheck after paycheck, and all of a sudden you own everything that you need in iRacing, and you get to jump out there and have the best experience possible from aside on being out there in the real life racing, where a lot of drivers, not a lot of people get the opportunity to jump in behind the wheel of a NASCAR ride and go run these racetracks and run against some very stout competition, and sometimes even running into some of those NASCAR drivers themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you do me a favor, Aaron? If you can, share your Discord, your stream, your Discord, so I can follow along exactly where you're at.
I don't know if I can do that, actually.
Okay, perfect. Nope, it's perfectly fine.
I think with Streamlabs,
I think we're doing a good job.
Yep. Alrighty, here we go. We are going back to Green Flag Racing. It's the green flag back out into the air for that 20 ride, as quickly Aiden Lucas looking to try to run away with this one. Hoping to not see too many more caution flags, not too many strategies coming out from behind him here, and potentially stealing playoff points away from that 20 ride. He's already got a lot in his back pocket, but I know he loves to pick up another stage win here in stage number 2 and try to keep all these guys, including his teammates, back there behind him. But I'm sure if he's going to give up a stage win, he was happy to give it up to that 6th ride of Brian Underwood. His teammate out there on the racetrack is Lucas. Down across the line will lead another lap. It's Grant Applegate back in position number 2. As William Connolly there in 3rd, it's Jordan Hand back in position number 4, and looking for more is Brian Underwood. And rounding out our top 5 here, he's able to get around that 8 right at Ethan Brookover trying to look out as, almost upside down. They're wrecking on the back straightaway. Big wreck here at New Hampshire Speedway. The 99 ride, the 37, and a bunch of drivers tore up here as Evan Stewart, look at this car, absolutely demolished. Hood has been thrown off that thing. Tires are not pointed in the right direction. Every corner of that car has damage on it, and unfortunately that will put us right back under the caution flag here this afternoon. Let's take a look back and see what happened here. As just off of quarter number 2, not sure if somebody goes around or just they run out of racing room here. It's the 37. Oh, looks like the 66 of Gleason. Yeah, gets loose out of the corner, tries to correct it, gets up into the outside fence, and all of a sudden, just driving up through that driver's window. And 37 right goes for a wild one right there. Nowhere to go for Logan Perryman, nowhere to go for Ryan Haller as they get tied up into it. And Reese Kelva right there, he's just trying to stay out of it. I don't know if he got any damage or contact there. Same with that number 79 ride, but they're able to just keep their cars somewhat clean out there off of it. And we'll take another look back at it and see kind of what happens here. Let's jump on board with that 66 of Ben Gleason and watch the hands of the 66 ride on corner exit here at New Hampshire Speedways. He's going to lose it. He's going to try to correct it. Unfortunately, the car's just going to snap hook up into the outside fence, and that's how the party gets started down the back straightaway. Right there, you see that wheel. He cranks it hard to the right, trying to keep that thing from going around. Unfortunately, just snaps hooks back up into the outside fence, and that collects a lot of very, very good drivers out there on the racetrack. It doesn't take much, and that one wrong move or just turn that wheel a little too much. And with these NASCAR cars, we see this quite often, even in the next-gen rides and everything else. Once you kind of turn that wheel a little too much, the car kind of almost straightens out by itself, and if that wheel's not pointed kind of straight or forward, it just seems to snap hook around.
I could tell you when Gleason was on the outside there, he was worried about what was going on in front of him. Look at Brookover, when we were on board with him. I think he was worried that Brookover was going to get loose. Then he just got to the throttle a little too hot, saw the 24 coming up, overcorrected because he didn't want to take the 24 out, and wound up, unfortunately, getting a lot more cars. So I know Ben, he's a good driver. He's a good, clean driver, would never do that on purpose, but I think he was just overreacting there to what was going on in front of him, and it just wound up getting a lot of people in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. They call them accidents for a reason, and unfortunately, there about 6 cars getting pretty tore up right there down the back straightaway here, and that is racing in a nutshell. Unfortunately, sometimes things go the wrong way, none of your own fault, and unfortunately, get tied up in a lot of contact and a lot of tore up race cars out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can get another angle, another look here at this 37 ride, as he goes for a wild ride here after getting onto the throttle, starting to build up that speed. Not expecting that 66 ride to run into a problem, and he ends up driving right into him, gets hit in the back by the 88 ride. Luckily enough, that car doesn't go all the way
Looks like we're pulling
over.
green here, Aaron.
Perfect. All right, as we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing, is out in front, Aiden Lucas. Back onto the loud pedal here as the sun really starting to shine here again. It seems like a little bit of cloud cover. It's kind of taken this racetrack into a couple of different areas. When we were watching that replay there, it seemed like we had a big cloud over that sun, maybe affecting some of these cars, affecting the racetrack temperature. The sun back out, shining down here, and making this racetrack very, very hot, very slick out there on the speedways. Lucas continues to lead the way. Applegate there in second, but looking down low, gets a great run out at corner number 4, and now down to the inside. They're door-to-door into corner number 1 for the race lead. They make a little contact right there. Aiden gets a little bit loose. Luckily enough, able to catch that car. Now they're 3 wide here off corner number 4. Number 2, and we see contact back there behind him. The 8 ride goes around, hard contact into the outside fence. Heavy contact here for the 8 machine of Nathan Brookover, as we were 3 wide there at the front of the field. The 8 machine getting tied together here and going around there. I'm not sure if he just lost it by himself or if he got a little help out there on the racetrack as he was battling door-to-door with the 3 ride of Jordan Kreider, and just rolling the outside groove right here. Looks like the rear end just steps out and around on him, and he's trying to save it, trying to keep that car pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately, the 3 car not realizing that he's losing that much momentum, and he's sideways there on the racetrack. Gets a bit of contact into that left rear quarter panel as he was already sideways there on the racetrack, and unfortunately helps him down the racetrack in a quick pace, and hard contact into the inside fence there for that number 8 ride. But man, look at the battle here again out in front of this field as they go 3 wide. The 20 ride of Aiden Lucas and the 57 machine door-to-door, and just looks like Aiden doesn't look like any contact and just gets a little loose right here, maybe a little neck code, and unfortunately goes up the racetrack. And then a big run for William Connolly. He drives down to the inside and takes over that second spot from Applegate, and was looking to try to get a 2-for-1 there at a corner number 2, and unfortunately he was only able to get that 1 spot, but now gets ready to line up in position number 2 as some drivers head down pit side, getting ready to go back to battle with the Premium Stock Car Racing League pace car out in front. That is being driven by Matthew Wood. So good to see Wood out there in the pace car, pacing the field here, showing these drivers the way around the racetrack here. Obviously not as a competitor, but as our official pace car here for the league. Take us through the thoughts on that one, Josh. Obviously, this is the first time I think I've ever seen that, having your own pace car out there on the racetrack, able to show these drivers under the caution flag how to maneuver around the speedway.
Yeah, it's something that we've created to get some extra exposure for the sponsors on the broadcast, but we're also going to look at using this for a choose cone, potentially for next season or later on this season, to where you will pass the caution car up high or down low to decide whatever position you want to go into. So we're coming around. Matthew Woods brought it down into pit road, and we'll be going green here just soon.
Absolutely, going back to green flag racing here next time by the start-finish line is Aiden Lucas looking to try to hang on to that race lead with William Connolly. Jordan Hand now into 3rd. Grant Applegate back there in 4th, as Brian Underwood there in 5th. Dylan Carrier back in 7th. He's been having a bit of a wild day here at the racetrack. Obviously not out there for qualifying, then having to make that pass-through penalty, and up inside the top 10 here, ready to see what that 31 ride can do and see if he can potentially battle for a good finish, a solid run here at New Hampshire Speedway, and see if he's got something left in the tank here, see if he can jump up into this battle at the front of the field and maybe make this, multi-car race for the win and get some different drivers up there at the front of the field. Obviously having William Connolly up there kind of breaking up those Redemption Motorsports cars right now is always a good thing, but see if some of these other cats can jump up there and maybe find their way into victory lane and keeping that 20 ride out of victory lane as he looks for 5 wins in a row. As we are back to Green Flag Racing in a huge run down to the inside out of the 11 ride of Jordan Hand. Hand sent it in there very deep. Luckily enough, does not watch up the racetrack, was able to get onto the binders quick enough and keep himself from sliding up and into that 25. William Connolly is Connolly into the middle right here, trying to figure something out here, trying to get that beautiful EFF machine up to the front of the field, but now trying to battle door to door with that 11 ride of Jordan Hand. His hand looking to try to get around it. Applegate back there in fourth is Landon Burbage now inside the top 5 as Brian Underwood slides back into position number 6. It's Aaron Robinson, Dylan Carrier, Melvin Brenner after his early spin there in the 89 riding and collecting a couple issues out there on the racetrack. He's there in 9th, and Reese Kelva there as well as look out again down the back straightaway. We see Nathan Brookover into the inside fence. That is going to bring the caution flag back out. So the caution flag going to come back out again here. Still damaged there, heavily damaged. Number 8 machine, unfortunately, coming out at corner number 2. Once again, just loses that rear end, gets into the inside fence. Down out of corner number 2, and not quick enough to get that car off the racetrack. Obviously, the 13 ride rolling out at corner number 2. The officials throwing that caution flag, and that will put us right back under the yellow. We'll get ready for another restart here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, as we'll get a quick word in here from our sponsors over at Prestige Enterprises.
Hey guys, my name is Harley with Prestige Enterprises. Not only are we a proud sponsor of the Powerhouse Motorsports, we're also proud to be one of the sponsors for Premier Stock Car Racing League. We provide our services to over 70% of the U.S. and we have a wide range of services, but our main focuses are custom homes, barn doors and shops, and commercial development. But it doesn't stop there. So pull out your phones and use this QR code on your screen to take a quick look at our website. We can't wait to make your dreams come true. Now that we have helped pay some bills, let's throw it back to you, Aaron.
Alrighty, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in this one. We're inching closer and closer to the end of stage number 2 here on the afternoon, where we're going to hand out another group of points here for each and every one of these drivers to go towards that regular season points, and then obviously that extra bonus point for the playoffs going to the stage winner here. We saw Brian Underwood pick up stage win number 1 on the afternoon of the 20 ride. He's looking to try to win stage number 2 here this evening, but looking to try to hold off William Connolly, Jordan Hand, and all these other drivers back there behind him, as he will get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing in just a few more moments, as lap number 60 gonna get clicked up onto the board here. So we will go back to Green Flag Racing. 60 laps down, 20 laps left to go here in this stage, and 140 laps left to go here in this race. So still a lot of time to make some moves, use some strategy, and try to race your way up to the front of the field and see if you can put yourself into the New Hampshire Speedway victory lane here this afternoon. A beautiful Saturday evening to be on iRacing, to be on the sim, and to be battling here with all your friends out there on the racetrack. As each and every one of these drivers, hopefully the main goal is having fun out there on the simulator, enjoying their Saturday afternoons, and escaping a little bit of the stress of life here, and enjoying their time here on the simulators. We get ready to go back to battle here. A lot of drivers already running into some problems here this afternoon. Drivers trying to still get their cars repaired, trying to hopefully keep themselves clean and green out there on the speedway for the rest of this race after using their quick repairs and no longer have the one in their back pocket if they end up with more damage out there on the racetrack. Their night could end in a quick hurry. As here we go, pace car back down off of the speedway. We'll make that hard left-hand turn down pit side, and we will see the green flag fly once again here at New Hampshire. As out in front, the 20 of Aiden Lucas back onto the lap battle, quickly looking to try to open up a bit of a lead between himself and that
Burbage
25.
lost it. Burbage lost it.
Ooh, baby, Burbage going around here, the 2 ride. Oh, brother, another caution flag to come out. Burbage goes around right here. I'm not sure if he had a little help, as they were tight together, and maybe a little contact there from the 24 ride. Looks like Aaron Robinson going to get into him right here as they kind of got stacked up down low. You see the 2 ride gets into the back bumper of that 6 ride of Brian Underwood, the 24. not really seeing him get checked up right there. Unfortunately, expecting him to come in with some pace down into corner number 1. They get tied together. That gets him sideways on the racetrack. He's trying to correct it, unfortunately, going from the racing surface onto that dirty apron. That car just continues to go around right there. Luckily enough, oh man, no, it looks like the 76 ride gonna get a piece of him right there. That's a tough break for Farrell Robbins. Farrell's already ran into some issues here this afternoon and gonna run into a few more right here as he's gonna have really just nowhere to go here. He's just hoping that the 2 ride either travels a little farther up the racetrack and he can cut down underneath of him, and all of a sudden he's just right there from him. Couldn't quite turn hard enough left to avoid more damage on that 76 machine. As a tough break right there for Landon. Things just getting stacked up in there. Josh, what did you see?
Looks like Brian kind of cut down unexpectedly, and Landon just lost it when he got up on brakes and then came across the field there. So I don't really pin anything on Landon there. If anything, I pin more on Brian for coming down knowing Landon that was going to be there. So it's just a racing incident, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a tough one right there. Obviously, 3 drivers just kind of getting together and getting a little log jam down there. Everyone trying to get to that bottom side of the racetrack. And unfortunately, Landon right there in the middle of a 6 and 24 sandwich. And definitely not the way he wanted this afternoon to go. But luckily enough, does have that quick repair. Does have a lot of time here. Potentially more caution flags to come down pit side and try to get that car repaired without using that quick repair. Saving that maybe for later in this race. We normally see Landon try to make those moves and everything else and trying to save that quick repair in case if he gets tied up in something even bigger and detrimental for that 2 ride to not be able to continue. To have that in your back pocket is always a big bonus, especially later in these races. As another caution flag, another restart here on the horizon, and for the 20 ride of Aiden Lucas, a lot of these yellow flags, he's been able to hit these restarts, but do you think he's maybe given up a little bit too many of his tricks here? Obviously, he's had a lot of competitors trying to figure out his restarts, trying to figure out what he's doing out there and see if they can get the jumps on him and see if they can beat him here, over these last, 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I'm being called over to a team chat here to discuss a penalty. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. We're going to get ready to go bet the battle here this evening as the 20 ride, the Trenker Boats and ATVs, Bass Pro Shops, Auto Value Parts Stores, number 20 ride of Aiden Lucas ready to go back to battle here this afternoon. As down through the Geico restart zone, a great jump right there on the back bumper. Here comes Applegate. Applegate down low. He's going to send it in there deep. He's looking for the race lead out of corner number 2 as they're door-to-door once again here at the front of the field. William Connolly right there trying to keep his nose right in that battle as they battle down the back straightaway. Into corner number 3 here, we may see 3 wide once again at the front of the field as Applegate. He is on the march to the front here, and now Aiden Lucas, though, trying to hold him off, and luckily enough down the front straightaway, able to get a great run and keep that 57 right back there in position number 2, but Applegate isn't going away easily. Trying to keep himself down low, keeping that pressure on the back bumper of their teammate here in that 20 ride, and here comes that 11 machine. Jordan Hand right there, as well as the 6 of Brian Underwood as Dylan Carrier back there in position number 6. Melvin Brenker there in 7th as Aaron Robinson up into 8th. Reese Calva rebounding after a couple incidences out there on the racetrack. Looks like he's got the handling in that 4 ride back here, and that Prestige Enterprises right rolls inside the top 10 there in position number 9. Jonathan Gaston rolls back there in that 10th spot with Logan Perryman. Trent Johns there in 12th, and then we see Michael Durham Jr., Ryan Haller, and Landon Burbage, who was just tied up in that last caution flag back in the 15th position, looking to try to race his way back up towards the top end. Still has the quite a bit of rear end damage here. He's going to hope to see a few more caution flags and hope to get that car repaired out there on the racetrack. Is Aiden Lucas looking to try to keep that 57 right at Applegate back there at bay. Applegate continues to run that different lane. He's rolling a little lower than that 20 right and now gets loose out of corner number 2. Look out, so does it Reese Calva. A couple drivers get a little squirrely down the back straightaway, and for Aiden Lucas, that gives him a little bit of breathing room. About half a car length now between himself and that 57 is down out of corner number 4 and across the line. We only get about 11 laps, 12 laps left to go here in this stage. And for the 20, Ryan looking to try to earn some more points here towards the playoffs. He's already earned a ton of bonus points from stage wins in our first 7 races, and 4 wins in a row now for him. Obviously getting all those bonus points for the wins as well, and for the 20 machine, he's got to be feeling pretty awesome about how his playoffs may perform. Even if he has a bad race, he's almost locked in at least, one bad race every single round in. He should still be kind of even with everybody if he continues on this pace, or some of these guys back there don't start earning more of these bonus points to try to keep it a little bit more even, a little bit more close between themselves in that 20 ride when we see all those different rounds of our playoffs. As he continues to lead this race down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4, once again, it's him and a pair of his teammates right there behind him. It's Grant Applegate back in second, Jordan Hand there in third. William Connolly, he's breaking up the party here for the Redemption Motorsports team here, as he's keeping Brian Underwood out of that 1, 2, 3, and 4 enter on the racetrack as he rolls in that 4th position. Underwood, the 4th driver in that stable, back there in position number 5, but he's looking to try to rejoin them here at the front of the field. Dylan Carrier looking for his first attempt at driving inside the top 5 out there on the racetrack, and same with his teammate Melvin Brangruer. Brangruer back there in position number 7 with Aaron Robinson. Jonathan Gaston and Logan Perryman now rounding out our top 10. Trent Johns back there in position number 11 with Ryan Haller. Landon Burbage down low trying to take 13th away from Danny White as Michael Durham Jr. rounding out our top 15. He's got Ben Gleason down to his inside as Reese Calva, who was inside of the top 10 there, unfortunately has now fallen back about 7 or 8 spots on the speedway. Went from just inside the top 10 and now back into 17th after a little bit of a slide out of corner number 2 for that 4 ride. As Beryl Robbins there in 18th. You see the 8 ride of actually, it's the 19th place driver of the 3 machine of Jordan Kreider back there in that 19th position. Michael Ponder Jr. there in 20th. Then we see the 21st place driver, that 8 ride of Nathan Brookover in the 37 of Evan Stewart. I do believe Stewart is down and out of this race. Looks like Stewart has taken his car back up and onto the hauler. Unfortunately, is the first driver out of this feature event. It's out in front. It's Aiden Lucas. Lucas continuing to lead the way here in this one, as Your Dreams coming in, show the love over there on Twitch, coming in with that follow. Welcome to the Peacemaker family, Your Dreams, as some great racing action here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, as Aiden Lucas out in front, continue to lead the way. You see that sun starting to once again hide behind the cloud out there on the racetrack. That's going to affect these race cars a little bit, potentially put a little bit more grip out there onto the racetrack and take a little bit of heat off the racing surface, as it looks like in the back straightaway down through 3 and 4 it's a little bit more cloud cover, but down here through 1 and 2 the sun is still shining, still looking very, very bright out there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to affect us here this afternoon from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So you do see Jordan Hand able to jump up into position number 2, able to get around Grant Applegate. Applegate back into 3rd, as you do see Brian Underwood, our stage 1 winner, back up into 4th here, as Aiden Lucas still out in front, but now has the 11 of Jordan Hand trying to hunt him down. Hand there in 2nd, looking to try to close that gap, looking to put the pressure onto the back bumper of their youngest teammate out there on the racetrack, is Aiden Lucas looking to pick up stage win number 2 here this afternoon, as they continue to battle out there on the speedway, inching lap after lap after lap closer to that green and white checkered flag, finishing off the 2nd stage and starting our 3rd and final stage, which will be just under 120 laps of racing action, where we may see that go clean and green. We may see these drivers do that full 120 laps, green flag out there on the speedway, or we may see more caution flags, more issues out there on the racetrack, as you see that number 31 ride of Dylan Carrier, trying to take a look down low, looking to see if he can steal that 5th position away from William Connolly late in the stages. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is Redemption Motorsports out in front and still leading this way and starting to pull away here from his teammates is that 20 right of Aiden Lucas. 6/10 of a second between himself and Jordan Hand. His Hand rolls there in position number 2 as Applegate back in 3rd and Brian Underwood into position number 4. They have been the cars to beat here for the last 4 or 5 weeks. These guys have been on fire, and obviously with Aiden Lucas winning the last 4 points races in a row, these guys have been fairly unstoppable out there on the racetrack. At least this 20 ride has been. Even his teammates, I think, are starting to get a little bit jealous, starting to get a little bit upset seeing this 20 ride win all these races. They want to find their way into victory lane as well and potentially lock themselves into our playoffs here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. But right now, he's just on a tear, and I don't know if anyone's going to be able to slow him down. The only ones that may be able to could potentially be his teammates here this afternoon, as they're showing a lot of speed, a lot of pace here this evening, as well as Applegate back down low, looking to take that 2nd spot away again from Jordan Hand as they're battling back down across the line. It's Aiden Lucas out in front, and this is going to be the final lap of stage number 2. Stage number 2 coming to a close here in this one. Man, this is going to be a shootout, I think, here this afternoon. We're going to see a lot of different strategies, potentially some long green flag runs here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway here this afternoon. Is stage number 2 going to come to a close here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway's down across the line. There's that green and white checkered flag for the number 20 ride as Aiden Lucas wins stage number 2 here on the afternoon. Redemption Motorsports sweeping the stages as there is that yellow flag coming out as our 10th place driver Logan Perryman down across the line, getting that final point here this evening, and the driver right there behind him, Landon Burbage. Burbage was up inside the top 5, top 10 for a lot of this race, got tied up in that last caution flag, went around, got quite a bit of rear end damage in that number 2 ride, and he's right there at 11th. He almost ended up with some stage points still on the afternoon, even with that heavily damaged rear end of that Princess Towing ride. Is out in front, Aiden Lucas, Grant Applegate, Jordan Hand, our top 3 with Brian Underwood there in 4th. Our stage 1 winner coming home in 4th there in stage number 2. No bonus points towards the playoffs, but a lot more points here into the bank for that 6th ride, trying to race his way into our playoffs here this year. William Connolly rounding out our top 5 with Dylan Carrier, Aaron Robinson, Melvin Brangler, Jonathan Gaston, and Logan Perryman rounding out our top 10 out there on the speedway. As we're going to stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing as Your Dream says, love the announcing. Your voice is hella good, man. Wish you had the job at my home track. Laugh out loud. We need someone like you, brother. Listen. Hit me up with the deets, brother. Hit me up with the deets. I will take that all day. I'll jump up into the booth at a real racetrack. Don't you worry about that, okay? You give me the info. I'll get a hold of them. I'll put myself up into the booth. Just for you, baby, just for you, 100%. As here we go, drivers heading down pit side. They are getting what could be one of their final pit stops of the day here under the caution flag. We may not see them back down pit side under the yellow. It may be green flag pit stops from here on out through that final stage of the day. As the 20 ride of Aiden Lucas came down pit road with the race lead, he will leave pit road with that race lead as well. Jordan Hand coming out in 2nd, William Connolly there in 3rd with Dylan Carrier, Brian Underwood, our top 5, getting ready for this restart. So the first time inside the top 5 for Dylan Carrier here in that Phoenix Esports ride, and Melvin Brangler back there in 6th, Aaron Robinson back in 7th with Logan Perryman, Danny White, Landon Burbage. Our top 10 is a very slow pit stop here for Grant Applegate. I'm not sure what happened to Applegate down pit road, but he was down there for an extended period of time, potentially getting some repairs done to that car or just having a slow pit stop right there for that 57 machine. And now way back there deep in the field in that 15th position, he's going to have to try to race his way around a lot of stiff competition to try to work himself back up towards the front of the field and see if he can give himself a shot at the checkered flag here this afternoon. Jordan Kreiner back there in 16th. Michael Ponder Jr., he rolls in 17th. Farrell Robbins down pit side getting his car repaired. He's there in 19th with Jonathan Jonathan Gaston rolling back out there. We did see Nathan Brookover rolling back onto the lead lap here, as I do believe Brookover getting the free pass to Lucky Dog, and luckily enough, getting that wave around here in the 8 right back onto the lead lap here this evening. Benefactor of a lot of these caution flags is Reese Calva, Farrell Robbins, Evan Stewart rounding out our field here this evening, as we'll get ready to stack them up, rack them up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Some drivers still down pit side here. Here we go. Our final stage of the day is back to green flag racing, as Aiden Lucas onto the loud pedal gets another great restart, quickly clears his teammate in the 11 ride of Jordan Hand, as they're door-to-door coming out of corner number 2. We see some issues. Dylan Carrier, I do believe, going around. Carrier around out of corner number 2, and caution flag is back out on the racetrack. Caution flag going to come back out, as it looks like, I don't know if you got a little contact here with that 25 right now. Doesn't look like it. So these drivers just kind of running into some problems on their own here, as the 25 gets a little bit loose in front of the 31. Now I think Dylan, he's going to see that, and wrong button. Let's play this back a little bit. We want to slow it down. So he sees his 25 right start to lose that rear end. He's sideways out of corner number 2. The 31 sees that. He's getting checked up. He's trying to avoid him and avoid contact here. He gets sideways himself. The car gets loose, and that's where he's going to go around right there, kind of all by himself, but luckily enough, just trying to avoid contact with the 25 right. He was able to accomplish that, but unfortunately took himself for a little bit of a spin here and gave up all that track position. See all those drivers roll right on around him here in this one. So being the nice guy out there on the racetrack, unfortunately for the 31, not the way he wanted to go there in this one, as Your Dream says, hell yeah, we need you to announce our Coupe stock races, Crown Victorias, and the super late models we run sometimes. Woo, brother, get me into the booth. I would love to do it. I would love to do it. To do some real life, not real life broadcasting, but real life announcing would be, would be pretty cool. I think that would be probably the top of my list. Be one of the most amazing things here for myself and my career, would be able to do that. Is Stacy Benton, what's good, Stacy? Stacy coming in, showing the love over there on Facebook. Stacy setting it off here in this one with the 50-star dono. Says Aaron, Stacy, how are you, my girl? Coming in, showing the love here in this one. How are you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon, and hopefully you're getting ready to watch some great racing action here this evening, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. As Cryptic says, no, that's a 3-race suspension. A 3-race suspension. Dylan, what? Brother, you're gonna have to walk us through that one. That's tough right there. I suppose you brought out a caution flag by yourself, so it's another strike, and now a 3-race suspension for the number 31 ride. That's tough, man. That's a tough one right there. I don't know if they could really put that on you, man. You saw the 25 ride going around. You just tried to avoid contact and avoid taking him out and creating that caution flag. Obviously, this track is very, very tough to get checked up and not really lose the rear end, especially on corner exit when these cars seem to be so light on their feet and so easy to go around in. Unfortunately, you're just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time and going around right there, and that one could have had major implications there for you, brother. That is never very fun out there on the speedways. Here we go, back to green flag racing here this afternoon, as the 20 ride of Aiden Lucas sees that green flag fly, quickly jumps back onto the loud pedal, as some absolute amazing action, and door-to-door back there for second, as the 25 ride of William Connolly looking to slide back up into position number 2, but a big move down out of corner number 2, back onto the throttle early there for the 11 right, able to hang on to it, and Jordan Hand stays in that second spot, as now you see Melvin Brangruer, the 6 ride of Brian Underwood, trying to work themselves around that 25 right and up and into our top 3 here this evening. Here comes Logan Perryman. Here comes Aaron Robinson. Is still door-to-door back here throughout the field. Here comes Landon Burbage. Burbage racing his way back inside the top 10. And here comes Applegate as well after a slow pit stop. They're in position number 11. As there we go, you do see that number 31 right back on the racetrack, but look out, there goes Haller. Haller goes around the caution flag, will come back out. Caution flag back out onto the racetrack here is Ryan Haller. So he's going to go around here out of corner number 2. We see this time and time again here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And unfortunately for the 99, right back onto the throttle just a little too much. Rear end kicks out. That car just steps out and around on him here. Tries to get onto the binders right here. Trying to get that car checked up. Unfortunately, heavy contact as that thing up and off all 4 tires there. Flying through the air. And for that car, that beautiful 99 ride, heavy damage, heavy contact. It goes around, brings that caution flag back out. So we will get them all ready to rock and roll here once again, as it does look like Haller has taken his car right back to the hauler. As it's Haller on the hauler here this afternoon. I think that's going to be his new podcast for that 99 ride. I don't know if he has a podcast, but I think he needs to start one, and he needs to get himself a hauler, and he needs to be on the hauler and do like at racetrack interviews with drivers and stuff, and call it, hauler on the hauler. And I think that would make for some really good content right there. It's Ryan Haller on the hauler. And so here we go. We're going to get these guys stacked back up as our Premium Stock Car Racing League pace car, showing these drivers once again the way around the racetrack here without going around, as he is out in front of this field getting ready to pace them and show them that we're going to get ready for that one to go here in just a few more moments, as the 20 ride of Aiden Lucas looking to continue to keep that race lead, trying to be that reflection of perfection here this evening, as Bones does. What's good, Bones? Bones coming in, showing the love. How are you, Bones? How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we're going to get ready to go back to battle. We're going to get ready to duke it out again here this afternoon. You're on Peacemaker Gaming, as we'll get ready to jump into a Peacemaker Gaming crank it up here in this one. As Brian says, why 3-race suspension? Yeah, I'm not too sure about. I don't know why. I don't know why there'd be a 3-race suspension or not. But for Cryptic and Dylan Carrier, that's going to be an interesting story on whether or not that happens, or whether that is true or not. As Your Dream says, I got to run. My division is about to be needed in staging. I got to get there. Let's go, baby. Starting second out of 17. Let's go. And I definitely mean it, man. You would do amazing. Brother, get me in the booth. Get me on the call right now. I'll sign the contract. Let's go. I'd do some real life announcing in a heartbeat. That is for certain. As here we go. Back to Green Flag Racing and into our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're enjoying this action here this afternoon, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite driver as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. contact. Look out, around goes that 4 line of Reese Calva. Watching that one live out there on the racetrack. A hard-fought battle between that 4 in the 28 of Trent Johns. Is Trent in that 4 line battling back there for quite a while until they finally get tied together there. And unfortunately, some pretty good damage and unfortunate contact here for both of those drivers, bringing the caution flag out as they were battling door to door quite heavily here for a little while. Door to door down through corner number 3 and 4 here, almost an entire lap around this racetrack, battling side by side. The Frosted Flakes Kellogg's ride, not wanting to give up that position. The 4 rider Reese Kelva trying to take it away from him as that Prestige Enterprises ride sends it deep down low into corner number 1. The crossover out of the 28 ride, unfortunately, they just come together down out of corner number 2. And that's where you see that 4 line go sideways after the contact. They come together again, brings that Texas A&M machine around and brings that caution flag out on the racetrack. So a caution flag out there on the speedway, allowing all these drivers a free trip down pit side here as green flag pit stops, or caution flag pit stops underway here. So pit stops for each and every one of these drivers. We did see Grant Applegate race his way back up inside the top 4. So once again, it was the 4 Redemption Motorsports riders who qualified 1, 2, 3, and 4 here this afternoon. They're in those first 4 pit stalls, have been at the front of the field for a lot of laps here this evening, and it looks like a close race out of pit lane. And I'm not sure who got that one, as it does look like Nathan Brookover going to stay out here. So Brookover staying out on the racetrack and not coming down pit side. Make things interesting here. He's going to be our race leader when we go back to green flag racing here, ladies and gentlemen. He will be out in front. He will show these drivers the way back to the green flag here in this race. In the 72 rider, Jonathan Gass, I do believe he's hoping to try to get that waiver out or a free pass out there on the racetrack. Doesn't look like he's going to get it, as the 8 line does stay out, does not come down pit side, and doesn't give a lap back through that 72. So he's forced to come down pit road here as the 8 machine of Nathan Brookover now out front for the restart, as it does show Aiden Lucas will start in position number 2. Brian Underwood back there in 3rd. Applegate there in 4th. And I believe an additional trip, or I don't know what may have happened here. The 11 ride, Jordan Hand now back in 16th position. So potentially a penalty down pit side for this 11 machine. Unfortunately now deep in the field here himself. So another one of these Redemption Motorsports rides, who's been at the front of the field battling there inside the top 4 for most of this race. Now going to the back of the pack. We saw the strategy early on out of Underwood taking that bullet and going to the rear of the field. We saw Applegate have a long pit stop and him go to the back of the pack, and now it's turn for that number 11 ride. Hopefully that trend doesn't continue, or Aiden Lucas next trip down pit side could be in a world of hurt, as the 8 rider Nathan Brookover getting that green flag quickly back out into the air. Here is down into the Geico restart bunks. He quickly jumps onto that well pedal. Now we'll have to wait and see if he can hang on to this race lead. Obviously not going to have about 20 lap or so older tires than these cars back here behind him, and they're going to make quick work of him here. Obviously trying to play that strategy game for that 8 ride, and here comes, I believe that is the 76 right of Farrell Robbins back out onto the racetrack here. Robbins right in front of our race leaders here. He was trying to come down pit side, get an additional pit stop in there, and looking to still get more repairs done to that 76. And unfortunately, he's really close of potentially going another lap down. As here comes Applegate. Applegate down low, looking to try to take this race lead away from that 20 ride of Aiden Lucas, as they are almost door to door down and out of corner number 2. And look out, oh baby, Brian Underwood able to catch it and keep that car from making heavy contact with that inside wall. Lost it there out of corner number 2, and unfortunately slides all the way back now into position number 15 on the racetrack. Jordan Hand right there behind him, his teammate back in the 17th position here, and on that restart did not get a big jump or anything else, and unfortunately for the 11 ride, back here in 17th and really not working his way back towards the front of the field here. And now we see some more issues. Look out. Now it's the 31 rider, Dylan Carrier. Carrier is going to go back around here on the racetrack, and the caution flag will come back out here in this one. We were having such a good long green flag run out there on the speedway, and this time, again, 31 ride just out of corner number 72 just going to lose that rear end. The first time we saw this, he was trying to avoid running into that 25 ride. This time, though, does look like he is just going to lose that rear end. The car is just going to step out and around on him here as he's trying to get back onto the throttle, looking to try to get into that fight there in front of him between the two of the 25 and trying to race his way back inside the top 5 out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately just getting onto that loud pedal a little too quick, and 31 machine's going to go around, pointed the wrong direction there on the bottom side of the racetrack, comes to a stop, and that's where we see that caution flag come back out, and a heartbreaker there for the Phoenix Esports at number 31 machine, as we'll get them all ready to roll here once again. No damage there to that number 31 machine, and now you do see a couple other drivers deeper in this field. You see Brian Underwood back there, you see Jordan Hands, all these cats that have shown a lot of speed here throughout the afternoon deep in this field, as Brookover also coming down pit side. So the driver that stayed out there a few extra laps now heading down pit road here himself. Unfortunately, does not get into his pit box very easily, and for that, number 8 Ryan's going to have to back it up. Luckily enough, he's not going to really lose any additional spots out there on the racetrack with that mistake. And you do see that beautiful 5 ride as well of Josh Kreider. Kreider was up in the booth there with us for quite a little while. Unfortunately, not racing here this afternoon, jumping up into the admin booth, trying to keep all these drivers under control in that Rubbered Up Productions. Gaston's iRacing Graphics, the Lonnie Grinder, number 5 ride down pit road here. Always looking beautiful out there on the speedway. Such a great looking ride in the Rubbered Up Motorsports machine, and hopefully after the surgery that Josh is having and everything else, a quick recovery and get him back racing and back out there onto the racetrack and not having to be up in the booth. As here we go, we'll get ready to try to go back to green flag racing here. See if we can get another good green flag run in there as we roll up to about to lap number 120 right there, and about 80 laps left of this race, so 80 laps left to go here in this one. Virtually, 60% of the way through, 60% of the way through this race, and getting closer and closer to that checkered flag, but there's still a lot of time for drivers to run into issues, have mistakes out there on the speedway, or to try and rebound from mistakes out there on the racetrack. We've seen that number 57 rebound. We've seen that 2-ride rebound from earlier mistakes in with the 89 ride, and it's possible for all these other cats that later on have ran into some problems here, including that 6 of Brian Underwood, the 11 of Jordan Hand, the 31 of Dylan Carrier, you know, all these drivers that have been deeper in the field here, and now we do see Jonathan Gaston also getting the wave around him back onto the lead lap for the 72 machine, so another good caution flag and a good break there for him, as that will get him back onto the lead lap this afternoon in his Gaston's iRacing Graphics Bulldogs Racing number 72 machine is down through the Geico restart zone. We will go back to battle here at the beautiful New Hampshire Motor Speedway as the green flag back out. A great launch that time for Grant Applegate. Applegate going to stay door to door here with the 20 right. Lucas down low. Applegate up there on the outside lane. They're side by side coming out of corner number 2. Honestly, with that car to the outside, making that corner that much tighter on corner exit for the 20 right of Aiden Lucas. And now you see the 57 of Applegate with that run, jumps down low, looking to clear that 20 machine, and he is going to do so down and out of corner number 4 as Applegate back out in front here this afternoon. He's been one of probably only a couple of drivers who have been able to actually race their way around Aiden Lucas here this evening, and now that Applegate's out in front, everyone's kind of on the same kind of strategy now. This could be a tough race for anyone to get back around that number 57 riders. Look at Reese Kelva running into problems deeper in the pack. Kelva goes around, caution flag back out on the racetrack. As that Prestige Enterprises number 4 ride. I don't know if he gets a little help right here or not. Looks like he's already kind of losing the rear end here. I don't think Dylan Carrier got a piece of him right there, but unfortunately a hard piece of the inside fence for that number 4 ride. It just loses that rear end. We've seen that time and time again here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Drivers just trying to roll out of the roll back into the throttle here. Unfortunately for the 4 ride, you're going to see it probably right around this area. You saw in front of him with the 89 ride doing virtually the same thing. Melvin able to catch it. Unfortunately for the 4 ride, see that rear end step out. He's trying to get this car corrected, trying to get it pointed back in the right direction. Unfortunately, by the time he realizes that it's a little too far gone and gets onto the binders, that car already sliding down the apron and into the outside fence. And unfortunately for that Prestige Enterprises ride, not the way he wanted to show off that car here this this afternoon, getting into another problem out there on the racetrack as we'll get him ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. He's down pit side getting his car repaired. We see Brooke over back down pit side, same with Michael Potter Jr., and we'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing after this message from our sponsors over at Prestige Enterprises.
Hey guys, my name is Harley with Prestige Enterprises. Not only are we a proud sponsor of the Powerhouse Motorsports, we're also proud to be one of the sponsors for Premier Stock Car Racing League. We provide our services to over 70% of the US, and we have a wide range of services, but our main focuses are custom homes, barn doors and shops, and commercial development. But it doesn't stop there. So pull out your phones and use this QR code on your screen to take a quick look at our website. We can't wait to make your dreams come true. Now that we have helped pay some bills, let's throw it back to you, Aaron.
Alrighty, as we are going to get ready to go back to battle here in this one, as Texas Calva coming in, showing the love here in this one over on YouTube, says no self-spin all day, dang it. Says parking it, don't want to ruin this race. That's a tough break out there, man. That's a tough break for the number 4 ride, and a tough break for a lot of these drivers. Obviously, a lot of cats running into problems, having issues out there on the speedway, as a lot of cars, unfortunately, getting slideways on the racetrack. This is a very tough track, and we've seen it time and time again. We've seen some of the drivers at the front of the field, drivers towards the back of the pack, everyone kind of trying to just keep these cars underneath of them, trying to keep them pointed in the right direction. And now for the number 57 ride of Applegate, he's looking to keep himself out in front. He's looking to try to put himself into victory lane here again on the season, looking to pick up a dump here in that 57 ride for Aiden Lucas. There to his outside, looking to try to get back to the front of the field here. Going to have to pass his teammate in that 57 to put himself out in front, and what a run back here behind him. The 25 ride, that EFF machine, that is the beautiful looking ride of William Connolly. Connolly's been up inside the top 5, top 3 for a lot of this race, showing a ton of speed, ton of pace, and now he's joined by Landon Burbage and Aaron Robinson. Robinson now inside the top 5. Danny White right there as well in position number 6. We see Melvin Brent Brewer, Trent Johns, Michael Durham Jr., and Logan Perryman rounding out our top 10 out there on the racetrack, as we are back to battle here in a great restart, a great launch, and quickly open up a couple of car length leads here down the back straightaway for that 57. Applegate out in front, looking to try to run away with this one. As Texas Calva, yeah, that's an unfortunate break, brother. Unfortunate break, unfortunate issue there for that Prestige Enterprises number 4 ride, as we do see more drivers running into problems, in another caution flag going to fly here. This time the 00 ride of Michael Durham Jr. going to go around. So Durham Jr., I'm not sure if he gets any help right here, or if he just goes around himself, gets a little stacked up there, sees the 28 right, having to roll out of the throttle. He rolls out of it there a little bit, loses a little bit of momentum, and I think he's trying to get back onto the throttle right here. Now, I don't know if he gets a little help from the 11 of Jordan Hand. Looks like Hand is going to get into him right here. Unfortunately, does get up and into that left rear quarter panel, just knocks that rear end out, and around goes that 00. The Aaron's right, hard contact into the inside fence. Heavy damage there for that 00 machine. Luckily enough for Nathan Brookover and all these other cats, they're able to avoid any additional contact right there. Let's see if we can play this back and get another look at it and see from a different perspective here. Just the contact between the two of these guys. Right there it is. There's the contact. The 11 gets up into him, takes him for a ride down the front straightaway here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And unfortunately, that will put us right back under the caution flag here in this one. And Michael Durham Jr. down pit side here, getting extensive repairs done to his car. Reese Kelba down pit side still, as well as Ryan Haller and Evan Stewart out there on the speedways. We'll get them all ready to rock and roll here. Another restart on the horizon here this afternoon. Another restart about to come right at you here, as the Premium Stock Car Racing League base car showing these guys again the way around the racetrack here under this yellow flag, showing off all of our amazing sponsors on the hood, on the side of that Premium Stock Car Racing League ride, and looking good out there on the speedway. And a huge thank you there to the number usually the number 27 or the 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood in behind the seat here. Not a competitor out there on a weekly basis for the series, so not in the points or anything else, but he has jumped up into the pace car seat. He's going to give us a ride around here and show these drivers again. Not, it's been a busy day for him here. We've seen a couple races not very busy that we've seen him out there on the racetrack, you know, pacing this field under the yellow flag, but here tonight he's definitely getting a bit of a workout in and definitely having a lot of time coming in and showing these drivers around the racetrack there during the yellow flags. But he does come down pit side once again in that NJB Designs, Horvath, Admin Box, Ganson's iRacing Graphics, Phoenix Esports, Lonnie Kreiner, number PSCRL machine. As here we go, we'll get ready to go back to battle. Out in front is Grant Applegate. Applegate leading the way here. Looks like he's going to get ready for another restart again with Aiden Lucas there to his outside. Teammates, the Redemption Motorsports crew, 1 and 2 on the racetrack. They have been out in front here for a majority of this race. They've led a ton of laps here between the two of these drivers and including some of their other teammates that are a little farther back. Ryan Underwood finds himself there in 9th, and the driver who we just saw make some contact there to break that caution flag. The 11 and Jordan and ready of our top 10 as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. As down out of corner number 4, the paint car will make that hard left-hand turn back down pit side. Unleashing this field again into the hands of our race leader, Grant Applegate. As Applegate down through the Geico restart zone gets a great launch right there. Playing that cat and mouse game, have the 20 right completely on his tippy toes right there and gets a perfect launch and quickly once again clears that 20 machine and down out at corner number 2. Looking to just try to pull away from that 20 right, looking to try to open up that race lead as Lucas looking to try to keep that pressure there to his back bumper. Some great battling all around the racetrack. Everyone trying to race their way back up towards the front. 2, 3, 4 wide out there on the racetrack. You see Dylan Carrier, Jordan, and they're door to door. They're trying to work themselves around that 6 rider, Brian Underwood. Underwood unfortunately slides back into the 11th position. So Underwood now back into 11th as Hand and Carrier continue to battle door to door. And they got Melvin Brightbrewer right there as well. Brightbrewer trying to keep himself up inside the top 10 here and trying to stay in that 9th spot. But Jordan Hand quickly down to his inside. They're going to battle side by side into corner number 3. And they make a little contact right there. The 11 sent it in there deep, washed up the racetrack. Got a piece of that 89 right. Luckily enough, both drivers able to keep their cars pointed in the right direction. As Applegate out in front, Aiden Lucas though, these two have been pretty much the class of the field, I'd say, all afternoon. And Aiden not wanting to go away. He's sticking right there with them, not letting that 57 right open up a big lead and run away with this race. If we stay clean and green down to the checkered flag, he wants to be the driver out front in control of this race. And there you go, down low, looking to take that race lead back away. Applegate trying to hit that corner exit perfectly right there, but down across the line it is Aiden Lucas who once again leads this race. As Dylan Carrier, oh, he was just down low there through corner number 3 and 4. I saw that he went down pit side right there, but that's just our SDK overlay telling us that he was down on the apron. He was on that pit lane, but did not come actually down pit side as he was working that apron down there through corner number 4 and trying to race his way up through the top 10 here. Same with Jordan Hand, his hand quickly up into that 6th position, showing some pace out of that 11 right. Once again, he's been up inside the top 3, top 4 for a lot of this race here, and then after a tough pit stop, all of a sudden found himself deeper in the field and rolling back there inside the top 15, and now trying to battle back is Dylan Carrier after going for a couple spins on the day. He's poking his nose down low. They're actually 3 wide down here into corner number 3 as here he comes down on the apron trying to take the shortest way around the racetrack, but the drivers trying to carry that momentum down the straightaways here. Looking right there with them. Here comes that number 6 right and the 89. Melvin Brangler, Brian Underwood, all right there, still on the apron for the 31 machine, has taken a little bit of a different run, a little bit of a different line around the racetrack here. So far it's been working out all right for that 31 ride of Dylan Carrier as he continues to try to make that pass for position number 7 over Danny White here. White trying to hang on to it is right in front of that 11 Ryan Jordan Hand. They're almost side by side here for position number 4 on the racetrack as the 24 of Aaron Robinson was looking to try to take it away from William Connolly. Connolly hangs on to position number 4, and now that opens up the door for the 11 of Jordan Hand to try to get around Aaron Robinson for position number 5 on the racetrack. As here we go again, down the back straightaway, we see Applegate able to get that race lead back away from Aiden Lucas. So this battle out in front, the battles all around the racetrack. They are not slowing down one little bit. These drivers continuing to give us a show here this evening. Some absolutely amazing racing action, a bunch of caution flags here, but nonetheless, we see these guys continue to not give up, not back down, continue to just keep their eye on the prize here and hoping to see if they can either get a good points day or potentially put themselves up and into victory lane. As you do see that two-rider Landon Burbage, he's looking to come up and break up the party here at the front of the field, trying to get that two-ride up and into victory lane here this afternoon as Burbage rolls there in 3rd. William Connolly back there in 4th. Jordan Hand now into that 5th position and rejoining that top 5 after making the move around Aaron Robinson as Robinson back there in 6th. Danny White holding on to 7th as you do see that 31 of Dylan Carrier. He's door to door here with Brian Underwood. They're side by side out at quarter number 2. This is the battle for position number 8 and 9 on the racetrack. The 89 right there behind them, that is Melvin Brangler. Brangler rounding out our top 10 with Trent Johns back there in 11th. Then we see Jordan Kreider, Ben Gleason, Logan Perryman back there on 14th, and Farrell Robbins rounding out our top 15. Nathan Brook over there in 16th with Jonathan Gaston in 17th. Michael Ponder Jr. back there in the 18th position as Michael Durham Jr. down pit side still in that 00 ride. Still heavy smoke and heavy damage on that 00 machine. Scored back in the 19th spot on the Speedway. Reese Calva rounding out our top 20 in the Prestige Enterprises ride. Still down pit side as well as Ryan Haller and Evan Stewart both have loaded up their rides and have taken them down pit side and potentially off the racetrack and back up onto the haulers here this evening. As Applegate out in front leading the way, showing these drivers that he is the car to beat here, but Aiden Lucas has led a lot of laps and he's been right there all evening long, and these two trying to separate themselves from the rest of the field. Landon Burbage trying to hang right there with them in that 3rd spot here. He's getting a great front row seat here at that battle. We jump right on board here with that 2 machine and watch this lap around the racetrack. Obviously hard on the throttle here, carrying a ton of speed down into the corner, then hard onto the brakes, trying to make this big, wide, sweeping turn, and then out at corner number 2, this is where a lot of drivers get loose and lose that rear end, trying to get back onto the throttle a little too much, a little too quick, and a lot of cats running into problems there, but luckily enough, that 2-ride doing a fantastic job of it here late in this race. And again, now the back straightaway, full speed into corner number 3, roll down through the middle, and then back onto the loud pedal, down out at corner number 4, looking to carry all that speed and momentum back into corner number 1. And that's where you really got to try to set these guys up. A lot of different lanes, a lot of different ways that you can navigate this racetrack to try to carry that speed, try to carry that momentum, and getting a big run out of one of these corners, getting down low inside of one of these other cats and trying to go for a little bit of a slide job out there on the racetrack is how we see a lot of passes being laid here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Is out in front, it's Grant Applegate. Applegate continuing to lead the way here in this one in the Red Bull number 57 machine as Applegate out in front. Aiden Lucas now starting to fall a couple car lengths back there behind him, maybe trying to size him up, maybe trying to play a little strategy here. These drivers went pretty hard early on as you see that 11 right. Jordan Hand marching his way back up through the field here. Hand now back inside the top 4 as he jumps into that 4th position, getting around William Connolly. Now you see Aaron Robinson in that 6th right of Brian Underwood. They're door-to-door here for position number 6 on the racetrack. As that Kroger Mazda Racing number 6 Ryan trying to work his way back up towards the top 5 here as well, trying to join a few of his teammates inside the top 5. There is the Redemption Motorsports crew currently running in 1st, 2nd, 4th and 6th out there on the racetrack. They have been 1, 2, 3, and 4 for multiple laps here this afternoon. I'm sure that's the exact way that they would like to finish things off here this evening. As Applegate out in front, down across the line, will click off another lap, and we inch closer and closer to seeing that checkered flag here this evening. It is only a few laps away from seeing 50 laps left to go here, and almost 75% of the way through this race here this afternoon. A little bit of a longer one. Obviously, a lot of laps, a lot of time out there on the racetrack, and a lot of tough racing out here, man. A lot of caution flags, a lot of restarts, a lot of side-by-side elbows up racing here this afternoon for the Premium Stock Car Racing League. And this has been an exciting race, a pretty wild race, man. A lot of back and forth, a lot of side-by-side out there on the racetrack, and it's going to come down to what could be a crazy finish here. Now, whether or not we see another caution flag or if we see this stay clean and green right down to the checkered flag here this afternoon, we do see another redemption ride making that move back there for position number 5 is Underwood down low, looking to take that 5th spot away from William Connolly. This is starting to get into that area here, potentially our longest green flag runs out there on the afternoon. So one of our longer runs, this is where we're really going to start to see drivers and their cars take shape out there on the racetrack. On whether or not they have the short run speed or if they get their car set up and maybe trying to manage their tires here for the longer run as well out there on the racetrack. This could really make things interesting late in this race, and seeing a potential 60, 70, 80 lap green flag run to that checkered flag could really bust this race wide open, especially with the potential of green flag pit stops on the horizon here as well for these drivers. And who takes that bullet, who comes down pit side first, who takes that opportunity to try and leapfrog some other drivers early on with that pit strategy and using those French tires to their advantage here in this race. As lap after lap after lap, all of that information, every one of those incidences and every one of those possibilities are running through these drivers' minds and what they need to do or where they need to be or what they need to do to try to find themselves a little closer to the front of the field or potentially put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. As Underwood now inside the top 5. So Redemption Motorsports currently sitting in 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th out there on the racetrack. All 4 Redemption Motorsports cars inside the top 5 once again here this afternoon as Connolly slides back into 6th. Dylan Carrier trying to hang on to 7th here now as he looks to get around Aaron Robinson. Robinson slides back into 8th. Melvin Brangler right there in 9th, and Danny White rounding out our top 10 as White there in that 10th position. Ben Gleason, he's back there in 11th with Nathan Brookover, and great run here and a great rebound race for that 8 right. Saw him go around a couple times at a core number 2. Able to get that car rocking and rolling here and up into that 12th position as Jordan Kreider right there behind him. The 76 right of Phil Robbins ran into early issues and some more issues throughout that middle portion of the race, but the 76 able to get that car back onto the lead lap and back into contention here this evening. He rolls there in 14th with Logan Perryman rounding out our top 15 on the racetrack. Jonathan Gaston, same situation, got tied up in a couple early incidences, went a lap or 2 down, was able to use those caution flags in the Lucky Dogs to get himself back onto the lead lap and rolls there in 16th. Trenton Johns, who's been up inside the top 15, top 10 for a lot of this race. Unfortunate damage there to the rear end of that 28 ride as he rolls there in 17th. Michael Ponder Jr. bringing up the rear of our active drivers out there on the racetrack is the 13 ride back in 18th. Michael Durham Jr., he's down pit side here, same with Reese Calva, and down behind pit wall is Ryan Haller and Evan Stewart. Haller and Stewart both have already taken their cars up and onto the hauler here this evening, is out in front and starting to stretch out that race lead. It's this 57 of Grant Applegate. Applegate now out in front by just over a second between himself and Eden Lucas, but potentially strategy becoming a factor here in this race for each and every one of these drivers and what they want to do or what they need to do here to try to put themselves into victory lane here this evening, as over 150 laps into this race and we inch closer and closer to our checkered flag here this evening. This Applegate got what it takes to hold off Aiden Lucas and be the first driver in the last 4 points races to finally find victory lane that's not number 20. as Aiden Lucas has won the last 4 points races here on the season. He rolls back there at second. He would love to make that 5 beat come real here this evening. Look to try to put himself up and into victory lane for the 5th points race in a row here with that Premium Stock Car Racing League group. And right now it's his teammate in front of him. It's Grant Applegate. If he's going to lose it to anybody, I'm sure he'd be happy that it's one of his teammates out there on the racetrack. But I know our Stage 2 winner and one of our fan favorites of potentially being our champion here this year, showing a lot of speed, a lot of dominance throughout some of these early races. And that 20 ride looking to try to capture another checker flag here this afternoon as he rolls back in second. And talking about second, there's the number 2 ride right there behind him. Landon Burbage rebounding from a little bit of contact and a spin there not too long ago. That 2 ride's got his car fixed back up in the Prince's Towing ride back up inside the top 3 here on the racetrack. And he's been right there trying to hang with those top 2 cats here for a lot of laps. Unfortunately, has fallen back a little bit from them, but potentially part of his strategy here this evening. As Diggs Outdoors Productions coming in, says, hola, folks. Hello, how are you? How are you, Diggs? Diggs coming in, showing the love here in this one over on YouTube. How you doing this afternoon? Is Underwood trying to hunt him down. We do see that 6 ride, last season's champion, now up inside the top 4 here as he's been able to work himself around his teammate Jordan Hand back into position number 5 is Roland Connolly right there in 6th, but it's all Grant Applegate out in front continuing to lead this race. As this has been a pretty wild one, man. A lot of caution flags, a lot of single car spins out of these corners, but a couple good green flag runs here in the second half of this race to really bust things open, to really see who's got that car to shine here, especially during the long run. And right now, Grant Applegate's looking to just run away with this one in trying to put himself up into victory lane as we inch closer and closer to about 40 laps left to go here in this race. We're going to jump into another very quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up here as we'll crank up that volume. We're going to jump on board here with our race leader for a couple laps out there on the racetrack and get some more of the sights and sounds out there on the racetrack here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. As this time around we will see lap number 60 up onto the board. About 40 laps left to go here in this race. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just tuning in, make sure you guys crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers. Alrighty, here as the caution flag will come back out as a little contact. Drivers trying to come down pit side and make those green flag pit stops. Some of those strategies, unfortunately, not going to work out for them right there as coming down pit side, potentially going a lap down and not wanting to see this caution flag as contact right there. Brent Greer rolling around the outside of the 24. That is the 24 right of Aaron Robinson. Unfortunately, they get time together. The 89 right, the Thrustmaster machine, against that contact, goes around, and unfortunately, that's where we see that caution flag fly out there on the racetrack. We were watching it live, but unfortunately for Melvin, getting tied up in another incident out there on the speedways. Now, driver's going to head down pit side during this yellow flag here. Grant Applegate, Ryan Underwood, George Haney, all down pit side. Here comes Danny White, Ben Gleason, Aaron Robinson, Ethan broke over, and the rest of our drivers all headed down pit road here in this one. Now for some of those drivers already making the green flag pit stop here, they're going to be looking for that wave around the free pass here, looking to try to get themselves back onto the lead lap this year. Drivers down pit side, they're going to get these fresh tires put on, some fuel into their cars, and getting ready to roll back out there onto the racetrack. You can hear them wrapping up their cars and put that throttle down, and it looks like Grant Applegate the driver back out there onto the racetrack first. So he does keep that race lead, and Applegate will have control here of this restart, as this could create a little bit of an onslaught here of late race caution flags here this evening, as Diggs says turn the cars down. Can't hear you too well. Yeah, we were in our crank it up right there. We're going to get ready to go back into the quick crank it up right there, as I'm trying to quickly do something right now, and unfortunately kind of tied up in it, and trying to get just a quick little bathroom break in, and unfortunately seeing that caution flag come out. We had to jump back onto the headset real quick, as my boy Bubba, let's go Bubba. Bubba coming in, showing the love as well over there on Twitch. What's good, Bubba? Bubba coming in, says let's go, Bubba. Says getting into a mess. Draft Master, laugh out loud, lurking, just lurking. He says, "Oh, brother, that's always fine. It's always fun to lurk and watch in the shadows, brother. We always enjoy you tuning in and showing the love here, nonetheless." As Cryptid says, "Welp, my race and my season is over. I guess I'll just start preparing for next season." Oh, Dylan, that is a heartbreaker, brother. Obviously, tough breaks there with the couple spins and potential suspension on the line and everything else, and obviously having that pit cycle kind of go the wrong way there for you. So here we go. We're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll continue on with a quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up right here and get ready to finish off this race in just another about 30 laps here this afternoon. We inch closer and closer to this checkered flag. Caution flag coming back out here in this one, as the I Want to Go Fast number 24 ride of Aaron Robinson looks like it was his turn to go around here this afternoon, as the 24 down and out of corner number 2. As we were getting ready, just getting back up to speed here, rolling out there on the racetrack. Look at the 24 wide, just going to lose that car, getting onto the throttle, coming out of corner number 2. Unfortunately, it's going to go around, snaps down to the inside fence. Heavy front end damage there for the Liquid Molly number 24 ride, and unfortunately there for Aaron. The first spin we've seen out of that 24 ride here today, and heavy damage. Hopefully he's got that free, that lucky dog, the quick repair to be able to get that car repaired and back out there onto the racetrack and get that thing rocking and rolling, and see if he can race his way back up towards the front of the field. It's definitely not the trip he wanted to take down out of corner number 2, as a quick caution flag and another quick couple pace laps here, inching us closer and closer to the checkered flag here this afternoon.
Strapped in tight, ready, V8, symphony humming, tires screeching, engine screaming, speed demons coming. Vaseline guzzling, straight moving, track bruising. In the premium stock car, never losing. Pit crew wizards, quick as wizards, slick precision. Seconds matter, clock ticking, tight decisions. Drafting close, slingshot ghost, high speed ballet. Sipping victory, toasted champ, champagne spray. Fast lanes, checker flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Crowd roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathe and destiny's near. Grid start, hearts pound, seconds before eruption. Adrenaline and steel, the perfect conjunction. Lap after lap, sweat drips, thighs are fogging. Fame and glory wait for no one's dogging. Tunnel vision, apex hunting, blind to the herd. Opponents tailgating, pace firing absurd. Finally tuned monster, horsepower excel. Steering wheels grip like the gates to hell. Fast lanes, checker flags, racing through the turns. Pedal to the metal, feel the rubber burn. Crowd roars, engine soar, high stakes, high gear. Champions breathe and destiny's near.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a beautiful crank it up session right there for all these drivers doing a fantastic job out there on the speedway. As out in front, it is that number 57 of Grant Applegate who leads the way here at New Hampshire Speedway. Applegate with 23 laps left to go, looking to try to find his way into victory lane, making it, I believe, 5 wins in a row for Redemption Motorsports for the first race in 5 points races now. 4 points races in a row for that 20 ride. This is the 5th race here for the 20 ride to try to get that 5P here, finding his way into victory lane as he rolls back there in position number 2, trying to hunt Applegate down late in this race. Says NJB Designs, what's good? Noah coming in, says sending love from turn 8 at Sonoma Raceway. I'm out here camping, brother. Man, that sounds like a great time. Sounds like an amazing weekend. Hopefully you're having some fun out there at Sonoma Raceway and enjoying your time out there at the campgrounds and camping and enjoying that nice weather out there. That Cali weather's got to be feeling very, very nice being down in Sonoma wine country and enjoying some good sun down there. Hopefully it's been nothing but perfect weather for you. As out in front, it's been, anything but a perfect race for this 57 ride. A couple times saw him deeper in the field, trying to race his way back up to the front here, but once he's kind of gotten that race lead away from Aiden Lucas, there's been no looking back here for that 57 as Applegate continues to lead the way. Aiden back there in second. Jordan Hand in position number 3. The 66 of Ben Gleason now up and into position number 4. What a run here for Gleason there in that 4th position as Brian Underwood back in position number 5. Would love to make it a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish here for the Redemption Motorsports crew as he looks to try to catch up to that 66 and get around him here as the sun is absolutely blinding there out of quarter number 2 off these race cars. Very beautiful shiny cars out there on the speedway, and they produce a crazy reflection out there on the racetrack. It's Danny White there in 6th. Jonathan Gaston, heck of a rebound there for that 72 ride as well. As not too long ago, he was a lap down or multiple laps down here in the Old Dogs. Gaston's iRacing Graphics number 72 now into that 7th position. Landon Burbage back there in 8th with Jordan Kreider there in 9th. Logan Perryman there in the 10th position with Melvin Brandwehr back in 11th. William Connolly there in position number 12. Then we saw Connolly. He was battling at the front of the field there for a lot of laps. Had a very strong run going here. Unfortunately, he was one of those drivers that had already made an early pit stop before that caution flag came out and, kind of broke up the middle of that pit cycle right there for a lot of these cats, and he was able to rebound, get back onto the lead lap, but now has older tires than a lot of these drivers in front of him, and unfortunately just not able to hang with them anymore, and unfortunately stuck back here in that 12th position. As Trent Johns back there in 13th, it's Farrell Robbins there in the 14th position. Nathan Brookover rounding out our top 15 is Michael Ponder Jr. back there in the quick lane, number 13, ride that. Josh Berry, Wood Brothers paint scheme there in position number 16. Aaron Robinson down pit side here, a tough break there for Robinson as we talked to him there during the crank it up during that caution flag. He jumped into the comment section over there on YouTube and he said he didn't have any fast repairs left for that 24 ride. Unfortunately, could not get that car fixed up. He is now down pit side here at extended time for that 24 ride. Dylan Carrier now down and out of this race as well. He's loaded up that car back onto the trailer here this afternoon for the number 31 ride. Michael Durham Jr. there in 19th. Reese Calva back in 20th. They've been down pit side for multiple laps here, a lot of laps here this afternoon since about halfway marker. And for Ryan Haller, he's back on the hauler, and Evan Stewart back there as well, also out of this race as Diggs Outdoor Production says it's time, it's go time. Things are gonna get interesting. Yeah, things are definitely gonna get interesting, but so far, man, Applegate, he showed to have some really good long run speed there during that little bit of a run that we had, that 40 laps or so of green flag racing that we were able to see. That 57 ride really looked like he had things figured out, but for Aiden Lucas, potentially seeing that the 57 ride maybe took care of his tires a little bit longer than he did, potentially played that little bit of strategy to be able to take that race lead away from him and now pulling away. But the 20 ride, Aiden Lucas, very smart, very fast driver, potentially has a couple tricks left up his sleeve maybe right now, just trying to roll out there behind that 57, trying to save some tires here himself and hoping to see if he can try to make a late race pass and steal this win away from his teammate Grant Applegate and make it 5 points races in a row for that 20 machine as Jordan Hand back there in third, and now Brian Underwood up and into position number 4 here as it is Redemption Motorsports 1, 2, 3, and 4 out there on the racetrack as Aaron Robinson says, Peacemaker, I can give some commentary on what is kind of going on in terms of strategy and state of runs for some of those old dogs. Well, right now we're getting very, very close to the end of the race here, and strategy's kind of thrown out the window here for the most part, other than maybe trying to save some tires out there on the racetrack, or else I would pull you up here into the broadcast booth. It's basically down to, kind of who's got the best car here late in this race. That little bit of a run there, the couple of caution flags, definitely making this a little bit more of who's got the best car, who's got the fastest car out there on the racetrack, and who can hit those, that little bit of strategy the best here late in this race. That little bit of tire saving that we saw over the last, 15 laps or so since going back to the green flag. And for Aiden Lucas, looks like maybe he did save quite a bit. Maybe he had a little bit extra here in this one, as Cryptic says, man, I'm so upset I was 4th in points. No one to be mad at but myself. Dylan, that's a tough tough pill to swallow right there, brother. That's a tough pill to swallow. Definitely never fun when you go around or run into issues, have that car parked down pit side, and obviously potentially that suspension hanging in the wind as well here. As here you go, reeling in the back bumper of Grant Applegate. Aiden Lucas looking to try to make it 5 wins in a row here. That Tracker Boats Bass Pro Shop's number 20 machine has been unbeatable since he finally broke through and picked up the checkered flag at Sonoma Raceway a little bit over a month ago. This 20 ride has been picture perfect race after race after race and has found victory lane in 4 straight races here with the Premium Stock Car Racing League, and now looking to make it the 5-peat here this evening as he's trying to get around his teammate Grant Applegate. I'm sure Applegate's probably saying, listen, brother, you've already been to victory lane 4 times here. Let someone else into the top spot. Let someone else win one of these races, and hoping to try to hold him off here. But late in this one, Aiden, he's probably got that same thought going to the back of his mind as every single racer out there. There's no longer any teammates. We're not teammates at this point. We are racing for the checkered flag, and each and every one of these drivers, I think they would wreck their mothers to put themselves into victory lane out there on the racetrack. And right now, Aiden Lucas looking and trying to figure out a way to get back around that 57 ride, looking to put himself up and into victory lane. As Aaron Robinson says, a lot of these boys up front are running 10-1, so watch for Grant to burn up that right front. Ooh, that right front could definitely pop off pretty quickly. It should be an Aiden Lucas win 5 in a row. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. Applegate showed that he had that long run speed in that last stint, and I don't know, maybe he's just trying to hold it off here a little bit. Maybe he's trying to save a little bit of tire here, and the 20 ride back there behind him, trying to run some different lines, trying to find that groove. Could potentially be putting a lot more stress onto that car right now. Could be burning up his equipment, just trying to not only hunt down that 57, but now trying to find a way to get around him here. And for Applegate, maybe just playing that cat and mouse game, man. Once he shows that nose down low or tries to get a pass underneath of him here, maybe that's when he puts that throttle down. And here we go. Here is that poke down low. The 20 right at Aiden Lucas down through quarter number 1 and 2. Gets a great run there, door to door, down the back straightaway here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway with 7 more laps left to go. A battle at the front of the field. They got about 2.7 seconds between themselves and our third place driver, Brian Underwood. Underwood now sees them door to door. He's trying to hunt them down in a quick hurry, but unfortunately, he's losing a lot of time to them out there on the racetrack as the 57 of Applegate continues to hang on to this race lead. Both drivers push up the racetrack there a little bit down through the middle of quarter 1 and 2, and the 20 ride's going to get loose there coming out of quarter number 2. Applegate able to keep his foot. The throttle opens up by a couple car length lead down into quarter number 3, and that may be all she wrote there for Aiden Lucas. Potentially that little bit of a slide, maybe a little too much of a gap now between himself and that 57, and quickly running out of time as down across the line we see 5 more laps left to go. 5 more laps left here. Can Aiden hunt him back down? Can he make another move trying to get around that 57 rider? Can Applegate hold him off and put himself up into victory lane and break the streak here for that 20 machine? As right now it is Redemption Motorsports 1, 2, and 3, and 4 out there on the racetrack is Underwood there in 3rd. Jordan Hand back there in 4th. Ben Gleason having himself a day at the Speedway, rounding out our top 5 with Jonathan Gaston there in position number 6, trying to hang on to it as here comes Danny White, Landon Burbage, all right there, tight together as Burbage taking a look down low here, seeing if he can pick up a couple extra spots late in this race, trying to get around Danny White there on the racetrack. Jordan Kreider up inside the top 10, and Melvin Brengroer rounding out our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Connolly, Perryman, Johns, Robbins, Brookover, our top 15 out there on the racetrack. Michael Ponder Jr. back in 16th with Robinson, Carrier, Durham, Calva, Haller, and Stewart rounding out our field. But out in front, it's Grant Applegate who continues to lead this race with only a few more laps left to go. Still holds about a 2-car length gap between himself and that 20 ride of Aiden Lucas. Looks like Lucas had that one opportunity to try to take that